What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Real Estate Podcast, episode 241. I'm here with Griffin.
I'm here with Trav.
We're staring Hans Gruber dead in the face before he falls without him.
And what did we watch this week?
One of the greatest Christmas films.
Still think it's one of the greatest action films ever. Like,
It definitely set like a
bar,
template. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, it hit the reset button on action films starring these exaggerated, like Arnold Schwarzenegger, like super buff, like
Yeah.
gotta bust in the room with a fucking
Yeah, it's
machine
just
gun.
a dude
like,
with a dad bod.
yeah,
Yeah.
And you can understand him.
Yeah, and it wasn't a dude that was impervious.
Yeah.
And the only real reason he was able to do what he did was he actually cooperated with the people who were willing to cooperate with him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like, teamwork made the dream work in the movie. I mean, to an extent.
Right. And like seeing this through, it's interesting looking at this today. Like watching it today versus watching it, whenever I first watched it and then throughout the years, because like something that I've never noticed, and I don't know why I never noticed it, but I've never noticed the fact that like he didn't want to kill any of them. Like the first dude died because they fell down those stairs and it broke his neck, And then
at one point he pleaded with Hans to fucking like stop whenever they were shooting those rocket launchers at the tank when it pulls up.
You've made your point.
He
Let him pull off.
He even pleads with the bad guy to be like, dude, knock it off, man. Like
Yeah, we get it.
Yeah.
And thanks for confirming my theory that I told him that you had fucking rockets, Like,
yeah. And then like he finally gets to that tipping point where he's just fed up with it. And he's like, fuck it. Like they're here to fuck shit up,
Well, dude, when he's fighting the German guy that he killed his brother, the guy that broke his neck, he's like, I'm gonna fucking kill you. I'm gonna fucking barbecue you and eat you. Yeah. He's saying all kinds of weird shit to him.
Yeah. But it's interesting, like, because, like, this came out in 88. So, like you said, it's kind of the turning point and, like, the new way that the action films were going to go. And, like, him being willing to cooperate with the police, him not being like, I'm going to get all the guns. Because he doesn't have anything except for a pistol. He doesn't have shoes. He doesn't have a shirt on. He's got a wife beater. Like he's
which gave you the fuck yeah feeling whenever when they open the I think it's the elevator and dude's in the chair and he's got written on his shirt, I have a machine gun now.
Yeah.
Like you're just like all right, like it's Macho Man Bruce Willis is on his way. I mean, and even though we brought up the idea that he wasn't trying to really stack up a body count, the movie was simple enough that you saw the parallels between Gruber and fucking McClane.
Yeah.
And how they were both,
I think
you could see the two sides of the same coin approach
with
them.
There was definitely mutual respect between the two. Like maybe not, you know what I mean? Maybe not to like a very large extent, but you could see that like, McClane kind of like respected the fact that this dude had the balls to do something like this and that he was clever enough to pull it off. But also Hans more so was kind of infatuated with him to a point where it's like, it's just some fucking beatnik cop is able to take down him.
I guess the biggest parallel I drew from it when I watched it was like, McClane was, by the end of the movie, by the time the credits rolled, McClane, he achieved his goal violently, obviously, but with the help of people, as opposed to like Gruber, he did the same thing, but he killed his own men.
Yeah.
And that's the difference. That's the key difference in the two,
Yeah.
Or not necessarily he would kill his own men, but he'd allow them to die.
Yeah. He was just like, whatever. you're a red shirt. Get out there and fucking red shirt, you know?
Yeah. Like, he was not emotionally invested in any of those motherfuckers as opposed to when dude's brother dude's brother died, which it was something that I kind of laughed at, and that the the scene where it's the scene where he's killed that guy and he's kind of peeking on him like they're all in the
When
room
they're
with the
shooting the
hostages
Japanese
and all
dude.
that. Yeah. And when that happens, McClane kind of gasps and is like, oh fuck, and he gets out of the way. He is so far away
There's
from
like
them.
3
He's
doors between them.
there's like 2 double doors, several walls, and they all turn around spooked like he's like in the corner.
Yeah.
I was like, how the hell? Like, Gruber's got that Gruber hearing going on.
Yeah. And then, like, the fact that the cops, especially like the dude in charge, is just like, nah, fuck this guy.
Yeah. We don't even know if he's really a cop.
Yeah, he's like,
He could
I'm
be
telling
fucking
you.
with us. Like,
Yeah, if
what
he's
about
a
the guy
cop,
that
then
fell
why
off
don't
the
he?
building?
Yeah, why don't he tell us he's a cop? And it's like, I don't know, because they can hear everything that we're saying.
There's a little bit of a
you know?
hostage situation going on in there.
Yeah, we don't even know if there's hostages in there. And it's like, well, why would they have fucking ARP? They couldn't find anybody else that works at this building. This is a high-rise building that is still, yes, under construction. But when you look at the size of this party versus the amount of hostages there are definitely more than 30 people working in this building. You know what I mean? They didn't think to call and confirm the fact that there was a Christmas party happening. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I'm a cop, I'm like, get me somebody that works here that's not call everybody's house phones to see who's not at the Christmas party. Because if you call like 10 of them in a row, then no, there's not it's insane,
I
man.
always thought the shot of at the beginning when McClane first arrives. I get it that it's during the holidays, so obviously it wouldn't be as busy, etc. But I always thought it was odd how like that building sat in the middle of a dead ass parking lot. Like, there were no cars in there,
Yeah.
like nothing. But then he got to his floor and it's a celebration, bitches.
Yeah.
So when he first goes in, the guy they have working at the front.
Yeah.
That's he takes the place of the guy at the front desk. Motherfucker looks just like Huey Lewis.
He does, right?
Dude, if you Google it, a lot of people thought it was like, because I was like, is it Huey Lewis? I was like, there's no way that's him. Like,
they thought it was like
him.
a cameo.
Yeah, so you look it up, and a lot of people thought that was Huey Lewis of the movie. Because he does,
Imagine
he looks
having
like
to shoot that down in your interviews for a little while there, because there has to be some scrap of footage, whatever, where Huey Lewis is somewhere and they're like, yo, man, like, what was it like being in Die Hard? And he was like,
Do what?
Or he just goes with it, and he's like, it was fucking great.
Yeah,
dude, I
Bruce
got to
Willis.
meet Benedict Alan Rickman.
Alan Rickman's performance, though, like
how young all of the cast was,
Yeah, and the fact that like he kind of embodies, what we would consider like the villain.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
you want him to die.
Wasn't he a Bond villain as well?
Alan Rickman or Hans Gruber?
Hans Gruber is every villain.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
I mean, honestly, we can kind of agree. I think that Hans Gruber became the template for a lot of '90s villains.
Oh yeah,
that's what I'm saying about the template of this movie. Like,
yeah,
the whole thing, the bad guy, the main character not being this buff. I mean, he went on to make a damn shitload of these movies. Last Boy Scout. The other Die Hard movies. I mean, I think the next one's called Die Harder.
Yeah.
That sounds like something like a sequel name they would come up with now.
Yeah. But
and back in the day, they were like Die Harder, and it's like, love it.
Yeah. Yeah. Put it on the poster.
Here's all the money.
Yeah. Take it. Crazy. It's based off of a novel.
Yeah, I saw that when the credits were rolling. And I was like, huh.
I never realized that, but I would definitely be interested in reading it to see like what the similarities are. You know what I mean? Because I'm sure that they dive more into what Hans Gruber's motivations. You know, like his motivations was enough money. You
Yeah,
know,
a lot of money.
to get the movie made,
600 million.
especially in '88. Yeah.
I have to
But I
go with
would.
what Trav said earlier. Though. He was texting me. I was watching it. I'd already started it, and then he came in a little after, and he's like, "What the fuck are they gonna do with these bonds?"
Yeah, for
And it's
real,
like, can you
right?
just cash in somebody's stolen bonds? How's that work? Is that the
I
only
think.
copy of the bond?
Yeah, I think so. I
There's
think it's
no
like a deed,
digital.
but without a signature.
Uh,
You know what I
I
mean?
mean,
Like,
I just thought that was a pretty
I
glaring
mean,
plot hole. It's like
could
they're
they
there for
cancel them?
they're there for 640 million in
Yeah,
bonds.
each bond was
Like
100,000.
it's like, man, I don't
Just for
think that's
folded
how
money.
heists work, Hans.
Well, it was like it
I
had to
did
be lighter than gold bars because that's a lot of work, as we've seen.
yeah,
I did read that if anything unfortunate out of this film could be said, it's that I guess this movie was the start of the typecast of Alan Rickman being a villain.
yeah,
Well, he just
Uh,
doesn't scream happy, guy. Like,
yeah.
yeah,
He's kind of monotone,
yeah,
but
you know.
I mean, we loved him in Dogma.
Yeah, but I mean,
still a
he's
He
dickhead
was
though.
even,
yeah,
but but that's the thing though. He still wasn't necessarily evil.
Yeah,
And he was also
no,
great at he was great as the Roman computer in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
yeah.
yeah,
I just got an affinity for Rickman. I think y'all do too. There's like there's at least one film where that man's like you're like hell yeah, dude, like good performance. This is one of them, obviously, but you know
yeah.
I've
he's
never
in a
seen him
ton
in
of good
anything bad,
classics.
dude. When he played
Yeah, a
the
lot of
sheriff
good.
of Nottingham,
Oh my God,
what?
Oh,
yeah,
dude, uh, well, fucking Galaxy Quest.
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, talking about, I mean, and I guess Die Hard might fall under it, but like movies that won't get made in the modern day anymore, or will probably never get made again.
yeah,
well, if they make them, they'll fuck them up.
for
I
sure.
think
Like,
yeah, they will, but I feel like Die Hard would be a safe remake. I think.
Yeah, they would. Like we were talking about before we were going live, though, they would probably, feminize it, right?
of course.
They would probably give it more of a comedic take, or they're going to cast The Rock in it.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Well,
you
yeah,
know,
and those beats would happen, but I mean like in terms of like how you would be able to pick the plot up and be like, okay, here's how it is for a 2021 release. You change the bonds to crypto, obviously.
Yeah.
Um, you change instead of oil, it's like some sort of Silicon Valley corporation like Facebook or whatever, you know,
yeah,
and you just go from there. And or you could even make it more political, and instead of them going after money, they're going after the servers, so that instead of somebody getting crypto, it's like, well, we're going to eliminate it altogether.
We're just gonna
yeah,
take off everybody's shit. Oh, they would attack like one of these places that store.
Yeah,
like a Google
It's like a wallet,
server.
they'd have to be able.
Yeah,
Now
you
they would
know.
have to be able to do that though without rehashing the ending to Fight Club. I understand that,
And then, because that's
but
untraceable money, dude. If you can get that, just empty it. I mean,
yeah,
that's your money's gone. Sorry.
oh man, if you could wipe out all of the world's anonymous wealth,
yeah,
that would
It's a
like
lot of
doing
money
that
too.
would force people to like people going public with their losses, which would obviously be like, you know, it'd be the equivalent of firing a warning shot and seeing who reacts, so you know who to take the fuck out, you know.
yeah.
One thing I really like is this is kind of Bruce Willis before. Y'all know how he does that thing now where somebody says something to him and he like squints his eyes and kind of looks up.
Smirks.
Yeah.
Yeah, the smirk, the Willis smirk.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
like you watch a movie that he's in now, that's happening a bunch.
yeah,
It's like that's just his go-to. He's like, I didn't really
yeah,
read the script. It doesn't matter. I got this. And he does the squint, and it's like, okay,
What
yeah,
kind of lenses are you using?
yeah, yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's like my favorite version of Willis is Panicked Willis. And it happens in a lot of these like 80s and 90s.
It happened in this one.
Yeah, where he like, when he's pleading with him to like let the armored car go, let him get out, quit shooting the rockets, like that panicked, like that's my favorite version of Willis.
Yeah, when he's up there like talking about the fire trucks coming and he was hopping up and down.
Yeah,
and I was like, you won't see him do that anymore.
Well, the same, kind of the same for Mel Gibson, I would say, and a lot of other actors.
Yeah, Die Hard kind of has it's like a Lethal Weapon type franchise.
Yeah,
kind of put them up there, you know.
You could absolutely, pair them together. And from my perspective, it's just the idea of like, it's just an average Joe saving the day. He just happens to be smart at the one thing needed to get through the situation,
Yeah.
Keep his head cool.
You think Die Hard would work as a television series?
Sure.
Yeah.
It'd be like a 24 kind of scenario, like.
Yeah, or let me rephrase it, like a limited series where it's several hours and several hours and have each hour be a legitimate hour of like 24 style where, you have a young McClane, first couple hours, he's not even in the building.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Taken, though, with John McClane. Like, by the third, fourth movie, you're like, really, dude, again? Like, goddamn, you just can't catch a break,
Because I don't think I ever watched the bald sequels, as I'm going to call them.
So I saw the one with Kevin Smith in it. Was it him one?
Yeah.
Was that Eagle Eye?
Well,
he was in...
Well, something I remember was like, dude, I think I only remember Die Hard 1 and 2 because I knew there was a 3, but I don't recall ever watching it.
Yeah, Die Hard 3 has Sam Jackson, and he's like a taxi driver, and he's having to pair up with Willis. And then Die Hard 4.
A Good Day to Die Hard.
So, are these low-key buddy cop movies?
Kinda, more or less, yeah. Except one of them's a cop, and which in the first one it's kind of a buddy cop thing between John McClane and Winslow, yeah. But
I mean, that's his name, right?
Yeah.
That ain't his name, but that's his name. He's Carl Winslow.
That fucking scene. Adam texted me the dialogue, and when it hit, I laughed, dude.
When he said,
it's just something about that shot of him.
When you're a rookie, they don't teach you. What was it? They teach you.
It's like they teach you everything about being a cop,
except the mistakes,
but not about having to learn with your mistakes. Yeah, just.
Well, then at the end of the movie, and that's been a thing. He hasn't used his gun since he shot that kid.
Yeah,
and he was probably not going to make it longer as a cop. But then when John comes out, it's like, oh, here's this motherfucker. Like, dude.
Which I mean,
like the last time we saw that guy, he was hanging by a chain.
Well, when Carl,
how did he come back out at the end? Let's think about this.
Magic.
Well, I mean, whenever McClane and Carl are both exchanging like, "Why are you on the force?" stories,
Yeah.
I was surprised at the level of relevancy this 33-year-old movie had when you find out Carl he's doing what he's doing because he shot a kid.
13-year-old kid, yeah. And it's like, whoa, that didn't age well.
Yeah. He had a ray gun, dude. But I mean, back in the day, those play guns.
He said it looked real enough.
And I mean, this was even before. And I know that it doesn't have. I guess it wouldn't have the racial equivalency because Carl was black, but this was even before all the stuff in the early 90s, man, with the LA riots and everything.
Yeah.
So I mean, if anything shows you that issue's been going on for way longer than the current hot button topics,
Yeah, that's why people are fed up, Trav.
I mean, I know.
That's why we're starting a movement.
I mean, pick a number and wait.
I didn't realize there were so many of them.
Soup Nazi only has so much
Die
stuff.
Hard?
Soup.
Yeah, I mean, you got
There's
1
5,
and 2.
right?
Yeah.
There's
You got
1 and 2.
188, 190.
I mean, an
95
absolute
is the one
franchise,
with
you know?
Samuel Jackson.
Yeah.
I remember. I can remember the 3. You know what
Yeah,
happens?
because
in
you
the
remember
3.
the scene.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, I just, well, I mean, I
But the
just,
other
you know,
two-
they're, well,
I
like
mean-
for me, it's like the fucking, it's the Blockbuster effect, man. Not movie, store. Like you walking through Blockbuster, you know, you go down the action aisle, guaranteed you're gonna lock eyes with Lethal Weapon, you're gonna lock
Yeah.
eyes with Die Hard. Like there's just you
Airplane.
always see the classics. Kind of like when you're going in to see your grandma, you're like, hey,
Yeah.
hey, grandma.
Oh, you
And then
still
you
got
keep
that
going.
old people candy on the table. Classic.
Yeah.
You know? Now, I never
Oh,
saw A
man.
Good Day to Die Hard. That was 2013. I don't think I've seen that one.
Yeah, I haven't watched the last
But I
one
saw
that I
the
watched.
one with dude in it.
Yeah,
I only
Just
saw
Along.
Along.
Yeah, what
Policeman.
was that? What was that
That
one called?
was
Live
Live
Free.
Free or Die Hard.
Yeah.
That was with that ridiculous truck sequence, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Kevin Smith played the
Okay.
Warlock.
Yeah.
I just remember
Yeah.
that weird ass brick phone that Long had in that movie and was using.
Yeah, and it's like,
Like
dude,
it was like his computer. It was
it's
like
2000 and, you know, what was it, 7?
Yeah.
I mean, it ain't no Hudson Hawk, but
No.
Wow.
But what is, you know?
I
But,
think he'll do another one if they ask him. I mean, of course he
why-
will. When you
dude,
see some of the
he's
stuff she's been putting out,
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. He's been making B movies for the
Yeah.
past 5 years.
I don't think he's
Oh.
like good to work with.
Yeah, no.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, dude,
Yeah.
that's all fun and games and cool when you're like world famous. You know, like he was then.
Yeah.
Big deal. I mean, he was Will Smith status. You know, whatever you want to call it, like that international movie star.
He's
Like, no
rock
matter
star.
where you go in the world, they're gonna know who that is.
Yeah.
So you can be a dick when you're that big.
Yeah, but once he starts
Yeah.
falling off.
Michael Keaton will tell
Yeah.
you. I mean, you
Yeah,
gotta
for
come around
sure.
there. You know, it's, yeah, you want to work again.
Yeah.
You know.
Right.
And you know, it sucks because it sucks for Bruce Willis. Well, I mean, it doesn't suck. The guy's got millions of fucking dollars. But as in terms of where Die Hard sits in pop culture, what it's like so many franchises that exist where you have those like. I guess my point is that Schwarzenegger and Stallone still prevailed over the likes of Willis and Gibson and those
Mhm.
characters. Even though Mad Max and Die Hard, you know, among others, are great movies, and they have their occasional sequel that was a ringer or not. They still didn't match up to the other two guys.
Well, but you
And-
gotta think of
Like
It-
even Chuck Norris, and Chuck Norris, I mean, we could probably argue like when was the first Delta Force released? Like
I mean, he hit it big though with his TV show.
yeah.
I mean, dude, and it even had the computer guy from this. Remember that was his little sidekick, the black dude,
Yeah.
yeah,
the one that was like the quarterback's down. What would he say? That was such a cheesy '80s moment.
Yeah.
his
But-
Miles Dyson.
I think what it comes down to on that situation is like, but think about how, you know, like Stallone, Schwarzenegger, any of these other people, like, don't have a bad rap associated with them, whether you agree with it or not. But like Mel Gibson was like canceled before canceled was even
Yeah.
a thing.
This is true.
Yeah,
This
that's
is
what
true.
happened to Mel Gibson. I mean, it still
And
went
then-
on to, and he's still directing a movie.
Yeah.
So
Well,
he's
well, I mean,
recovered
Schwarzenegger himself has had his controversy
with his
recently.
love child.
His
and-
mistress,
yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah.
all that.
But I mean,
Stallone, I think the only dirt on Stallone was that before he was a movie star, I think he did like a porn or some shit.
well, he was a draft dodger too.
Oh, was
So-
he?
Yeah.
Huh.
Oh,
Yeah,
did not
That's
know that.
interesting.
He went to He went to Canada to
Oh,
dodge the draft, and then he ended up playing a veteran. And
well,
you drew first blood.
Rambo.
Yeah,
Wow.
I mean,
you drew
That's
dude, the
first
next
blood.
time I was sitting there watching Rambo, especially if there's some older people, I'm like, he's a draft dodger. And they're going to be like, turn this
Yeah,
shit off. Like, I'm
yeah,
just going to ruin
yeah,
it for them.
Where's
yeah.
my
Wow, draft
spittoon?
dodger.
I
Now,
really
what did he just run, or did he try to come up with some? Did he just ran? Head out.
That I'm not sure because I know he went to Canada. He did some porn, right? As you do in
I
Canada,
mean, if
and
you're gonna be a
then
draft dodger, you might as well double down.
yeah, and then he came. He came back. He did First Blood, and then he got Rocky made, right? Didn't First Blood come out for
I
Rocky?
believe so.
yeah.
So and that of course blew up for him. So all of these people have had their controversies, but like he was draft dodging against a war that the probably majority of the country wasn't in support
I
of.
mean, I was just sitting here thinking, if we were gonna be drafted for that war, we'd probably be like,
I
Yeah,
mean,
exactly.
especially
and
when you
also
know what you know about it now. Like,
like nobody's giving him shit about it
nah,
Yeah.
I've never heard
ever.
that. That's the first time I
Yeah,
ever heard
like
that.
that's
But he did come
I
from
think
TV too. Moonlighting was a big
yeah.
show, and he's the only one, right? Other than Chuck Norris being on TV,
Yeah.
he had this big TV career and was able to
Yeah.
segue it into
But
the
what
Bruno.
what you said is exactly 100% right though, because like and to be fair, Kevin Smith is probably not helping his case whatsoever. But if he's a shithead to work with, it doesn't matter who the fuck you are. Like you're trying to have a movie made and you're trying to get it done on time in budget.
Hmm.
yeah.
Nobody's got time to fucking deal with that
Yeah,
shit. Nobody.
babysit. And,
Well, if that's the case, it makes me wonder just how the how the pecking order in the more studio controlled movie sets are, because you hear about him being difficult to work on. Like for instance, we'll use Kevin Smith's thing. Obviously, you would imagine a Kevin Smith set is it's
laid back.
straight to business, of course, but very laid
Yeah.
back. Like nobody's gonna give each other
Like,
shit when
ain't
they get the
nobody
movie
yelling
done.
at
It's gonna have
nobody. It's,
yeah, it's gonna be a good
hey,
time.
man.
That
No
microphone
worries,
fucked up.
man. No
Okay,
worries.
let's go. We'll go get another one.
Yeah.
So it makes me wonder how a set like Surrogates went. Like, was there just was could there have been a situation? I don't know. Maybe I guess what I'm getting at is there a situation where Willis was being difficult and the studio brought him in and said, "Look here, fuckface, if you don't fucking do what we tell you to do when we tell you to do it, get the fuck out of here."
I mean, I'm sure at some point because think about it. Like, if you're shooting a film and you've got a 30 or 45-day schedule, and then it turns into a 90-day shoot because of one asshole on set,
Yeah,
I guarantee, like, and he probably got into it with some of the execs somewhere, and they're like, "You're not going to fucking work anywhere," and he's like, "Bet," and then now he's doing B movies.
Hmm.
And yeah, the first person that writes a half-ass decent Die Hard script, they'll probably greenlight it and find a way. If they can, they're going to hit the holy trinity in this Die Hard. It's
Yeah.
going to wrap up
It'll
John
be the
McClane's
last one
story.
for him. Yeah.
It's going to send Bruce Willis as an action star out, and it's going to introduce a new
New
character
blood.
or a new person, to take up that mantle, whether it be John,
Well,
of
his
course it
kids
won't be
should
John
be old
McClane.
enough by now.
I'd say
Yeah.
go soft. I'd say go soft and safe with a remake of Die Hard. And what I mean by that is like play it safe, let it be the same fucking movie, and let it be soft as in like don't go for fan servicey shit like that. Just hire a new person to be McClane, a new Hans Gruber, a whole shabazz of people, and just
Yeah.
let it just be its own thing. It's Die Hard 2020 question mark.
Yeah. But we'll see. I mean, and they could do that, and they could have Willis show up as the cop that's communicating with the.
Oh, yeah. Flip it
See what I'm
around.
saying? Yeah.
Yeah.
And cast like you
just a
know,
big nod wink to fans where he's like, man, I'd really
yeah,
hate to be in your situation right now. Nod
yeah,
wink.
and they could cast, um, like Michael B. Jordan or somebody like that. Not him, but um, I don't know. He might be close to the age. Would you put John McClane at like 45, 40, early
40,
40s?
39, 40, 40, in
Yeah,
there.
So I think you could pass him in his late 30s.
yeah. So
For sure.
so if you cast someone that's around age appropriate and you just reverse the roles there to where McClane or Willis is showing up and responding to the situation. And I mean, hell, they could even, it's been done to perfection already. So how can you improve on that? And it's like, well, just do it like a Die Hard type situation,
Yeah, Die Hard.
modernize it.
Well, Die Hard on a Die Hard.
Yeah. So, but we'll see what
who,
happens with it. But
here's a question: who would play a good Hans Gruber? Benedict Cumberbatch is not on the list. Like, that's two. That's I think
Two on
that's
the
two.
nose.
Yeah.
Christoph Waltz.
Ooh, yeah.
But you do
I don't know
Christoph.
why. I was thinking Henry Cavill for some reason.
Yeah. Well, he was a bad guy in one of those Mission Impossibles. I haven't seen that, but I heard that he did fantastic.
Yeah, I haven't either. I would like to see him in a villain role.
Yeah. I mean, there's several. I think that even someone like Simon Pegg could pull it off in the right circumstances. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, don't have him be eccentric. Have him play it straight, like legitimately straight. And I think that, like, with his accent,
I know Dexter's on my brain like it is y'all's, but what about old Michael?
Michael Chaw,
Michael Chaw.
dude, Chaw can pull anything off if it's written well. You know what I mean?
Michael Jaw would play James Bond. I'm just saying
Yeah.
right now.
Y'all check this shit
Michael
out,
Chaw.
because it kind of goes all the way around to everyone. So, the first person to turn down the role of John McClane was Frank Sinatra. That's right.
Wow.
Frank
Whoa.
Sinatra. Okay? So, this is based off a book, though, and it was going to be adapted in a movie, maybe a little earlier than when it got made. But so then Arnold Schwarzenegger's up next. He don't want to do it.
Yeah.
He turned it down.
Keep
Mel
fitting the
Gibson's
fucking-
up next. He turned it down, and it was like he had Die Hard and Lethal Weapon, and he went with Lethal Weapon.
Yeah.
Good choice for him,
Yeah, better choice in my opinion for him.
And then not long after that, Sylvester Stallone turned the movie down. They finally gave it to Mr. Moonlighting over here. So everyone had a crack at it.
Yeah.
Before they were like, nah. And look what he was able. It catapulted his career. I mean,
yeah.
To Pulp Fiction, to everything he was in after.
Well, kind of like, people are, in hindsight, people going to be like, they were meant to play X role. Willis was meant to be McClane, man.
Can't picture anyone. Imagine Frank Sinatra going through here with a drink in his hand, like fucking Ron White, with a cigar, like.
I imagine a very shitty John Wayne level performance from Sinatra, where he'd be like, I'm heading to the 32nd floor.
Yeah, the
honey.
delivery would be like that.
Like you could take the express elevator, and he'd go, "No, honey, I'd prefer to do it my way."
Yeah. And at the end of the movie, it plays My Way. I did it my way. When he's coming out. But everyone had a crack at it, and then they give it to this guy that, up until that point, only really done moonlighting. Did a few other things, but
Blind Date's great, though. By the way, if you've never seen it, it's fucking hilarious.
Blind Date.
Yeah,
that sounds familiar. Who stars in it?
Willis.
Just Willis.
I can't remember who the chick is in it.
This is 1987.
Yeah.
I may be getting it mixed with
Kim Basinger.
Yeah.
That's who's in it.
So it's good. I think we should do it on the pod at some point because it's a good comedy.
I mean, I think it's just really hard in general to try to even do a movie review on
For the
Die
heart
Hard.
minute. Oh yeah.
This movie has been brought. I don't know if y'all have done the deep dive, but there's so much like analysis into this movie. I didn't
Yeah.
bother sitting through any of it, but there's a lot of material. A lot of people have put in a lot of work to justify certain debates, break down the movies, back and forth amongst stuff that, I think it's just, I think it's, like a lot of our more legacy episodes, as I'll call it, where we're dealing with older films that need no introduction. It's more of just a great, a way of us to be like, hey man, like this movie was good, it held up, or that type of thing. It's hard to really break down this type of movie because there's a lot of stuff that that's already been said and in greater detail and at greater length.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and just for purposes of the pod, like, I mean, I love a good action film.
Yeah.
This is the blueprint for what we grew up on.
Oh yeah, for a lot, and I feel like we're part of that last generation that probably appreciates it. I guess that's the better word to say that we're aware of it. I mean, the internet gives you everything, so there,
Yeah.
there's some younger person out there
All
finding
of the
Die
time.
Hard or
Yeah.
whatever.
A little bit of
But
everything all
yeah,
the time.
but good reference because it's fucking true.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, I feel like we're that last group. We're part of those last group of people that was like Die Hard's a big deal,
Lethal
Yeah.
Weapon, fucking,
Yeah.
all that
Well, I
shit.
mean, well, like the movies where the cop cars looked a certain
Or they're
way.
square.
Yeah.
I love square
Yeah.
cop cars, dude. Big bodies. I love them.
They need to bring them
If you-
I
back.
know, dude. Every
if
time I see
it,
them in a movie, I'm like, oh. Or when you find that episode of Cops you're watching, and it's like, oh, they still
Oh,
got
yeah.
square cars.
Yeah.
yeah, I
The
don't know
long
what
bodies.
I mean. Like there's that's a landmark there. If you're
Yeah.
watching a movie and you see a box cop car in the shot,
Yeah, it's like,
chances are
oh, this is when
like
I was little.
it's a
Yeah.
history lesson.
Yeah. But I mean, the pacing of it to be an action film, for it to come in at over 2 hours. The pacing, how well acted it was, like the cast was great. I mean, it's hard to say that there's like a perfect action film out there, especially in the world of comic book films right now. You know what I mean? But I would definitely say that like Die Hard is one of the films that gets closest to
definitely
being a
belongs on that
perfect
list.
action.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think to add to what you're saying, I think everybody can safely tuck Marvel away into its own thing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And outside of that, you've got the rest of cinema.
Yeah.
And, to agree with you, when you break down the action genre, just pure tough guy type stuff, I'm not, because martial arts is kind of like its own Marvel in a way. Like when you
Yeah.
jump into martial art films, it's like, God, what I fucked up, like
Yeah.
what do I watch? But in the era of because this was ahead of the curve of like True Lies, uh, the fucking what's his name, Jean-Claude Van Damme cop movies, all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like this movie, like watching it, revisiting it now, it was like this movie really did start a lot of, that look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, even up until Taken.
Yeah.
Like, that it's still the same style. I mean, there was a little more fighting going on. Taken kind of took it to the next level. Like, oh well, now let's give him some fight scenes where he's really getting with some good camera work.
Yeah, like Taken is Die Hard across the world.
Yeah.
I mean,
international Die Hard.
to use the classic phrase, because like I mean, there was one little bit that I did end up reading where it was like, people, use that as an explanation for other films now. It's like, oh, that's Die Hard on a plane, or
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Die Hard Underneath the Ocean,
Snakes on
some
a
shit
Plane
like
was
that.
Die Hard on a Plane.
Any film that represents an average Joe going against insurmountable odds that's Die Hard,
Yeah. So Die Hard in a Mall, you
Yeah.
know? Probably not going to get that, but still.
I mean,
Well,
dude, if you could replace like
Observe and Report
Day
was
of
Die Hard in a Mall.
yeah.
it was Die Hard in a Mall with a little more comedy. Dawn of the Dead could technically be Die Hard in a Mall, but
With zombies.
yeah. But dude, what if you did Die Hard in a Mall though, where I know it's Observe and Report. I know that
but not
it's
a
gonna,
comedy, right? Like
yeah,
serious.
but you have
like
it,
as serious as this.
yeah.
But you have to play to your audience. It's
But
like this is
here's
for
the
the Die
thing.
Hard fans.
You gotta roll into the camp too,
Well,
like make it Christmas.
you gotta have him crawling through the air duct with the
Dude.
lighter. That's a classic scene, y'all.
Yeah.
Well, or dude, imagine this: Die Hard in a Mall. You got Santa and the kids. They're up there taking photos and doing the whole thing. It's Christmas, a couple days before Christmas. Everybody's getting their last bits of shopping in. Twist: Santa and his elves take the entire mall hostage.
Bad
And
Santa.
They're just some fucking anti-people, anti-government corporations. What are they gonna do? Like they're here. Like malls are already hallmarks of the past.
Yeah.
They're there to fucking take the last scoop of dirt for it. And you have a fucking Liam Neeson or a Bruce Willis that's gonna fucking, ho ho ho.
Has a particular set of skills.
Yeah.
Here's something interesting about the way this movie started, though, was like, okay, he gets to the party. The really cool limo driver's like, I'll go down there and wait on you. He meets his wife, and he's like, you got a place I can wash up? And it's like,
yeah.
Why are we washing up now? Like,
because he was sweating on the plane.
I mean, you're already at the party, dude.
Yeah, just deal with it.
I couldn't. Now it's like, who? Like, but would you show up at someone's work and be like, I need to freshen up?
Depends on how much coke I did.
I mean, it is 88. I mean, said there weren't 8 balls in those fucking desk drawers.
That's so I can wash up. It's like, dude, you wash your balls when you get home if you think you're getting some. You don't have to wash them now. Because all he did was wipe his face, his armpits,
his neck.
Yeah. It was like, okay, a little whore bath here,
Yeah.
Heard that business and pleasure.
I just thought it was fun, different watching it this time and being like, why?
Yeah.
Well, it was weird
of course,
that
the script,
Well, it's
pride,
weird that they had little quarters in an office building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Warzone did a good job of putting Nakatomi in the game because the basement it had all the shit, dude.
Yeah.
We probably won't ever see it again. I mean, it's still in there.
Yeah,
I think tonight's will be the only night though. I think today's the last day.
I think
in
my
the arms of an angel.
Updating right now,
But yeah, they did a good job.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, dude,
laying it out.
Whenever we call movies on their shit, sometimes it's for good, or most of the time it's for bad, and a lot of times, especially with these classics, it's the same old movie like Sin that you've seen 1,000 times. Like, how could they hear that? That was improbable.
Yeah.
But, it's so at the end of the day though, there's a reason why Die Hard is such a beloved classic.
Yeah.
I mean, for crying out loud, I saw this one meme picture where this guy built a replica of Nakatomi Tower, and each level was a day of the month. and each day Hans Gruber would fall a little more.
That's cool.
Is it like one of those Advent fucking calendars with Hans Gruber
that's
falling down it?
that's exactly what it
Nakatomi
is.
Advent calendar.
That's fucking great.
But
I'm giving it a full star, dude. It is a great dude. And here's the thing, man. Bruce Willis may be a fucking asshole now, but back in '88, motherfucker was trying to eat, and you could tell. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you can definitely tell.
Yeah.
And for a 2-hour film, I appreciate that this movie cuts straight to the fucking point.
Oh yeah.
Like within the first 5 to 10 minutes, it's like, okay, dude's got a shit marriage. He's fucking coming here to try to fix it. Shenanigans ensue.
Yeah.
Just a lot of asses have to be kicked for the next hour and 45.
I mean,
a lot of asses.
He might be a dick, dude, but he's got 11 movies in the works right now, so he's still eating. They're just not as good as they used to be, but they are all action movies. One of them's already like the first movie he's got on there, Fortress. They just completed it, right? Well, if you go 11 up, Fortress 2's happening. It's already been announced. You know, like it's already getting a damn. We got movies on here like Vendetta, Die Like Lovers. You know.
Yeah.
They're all action movies. Like he pigeonholed himself a little bit.
He's keeping that genre alive, and good on him.
Yeah. I mean, Liam Neeson's doing the same thing.
He'll always, Did
you see Ice Road Truckers?
Yes. Oh my God.
How great was that?
I love
an Oscar kind of great. It's a different kind of great.
I love Delia's sabotage impersonation. It was like, we've been sabotaged.
But yeah, it gets a star.
It's looking great. Yeah, man. Full star.
Full. It gets the fucking golden Nakatomi.
I'll give the 3 a star. I can already tell you that.
Also, I will say, you know, I guess for younger listeners, proceed with caution with the sequels, but you know,
just don't go past 95.
Well, yeah. When you've hit 2000, you've gone too far.
Well, you can even tell that one. It's like, all right, we're running out of shit to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That one's kind of
like now we're making dick jokes.
It's the third time,
title.
You know. Did he get into some shit? And he's like, I know what to do. He's got a good low and slow.
Like Live Free or Die Hard, I feel like its porno spoof name would just be called Blue Balls.
I feel like John McClane would be really good at playing cards.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
The smirk.
I feel like
and they're like, why, and he's always got some saying, you know. Should I play the Full House? And he's like, is it really the full house that you're living in? And it's like, what? You know?
Or were you just rocking at 2 clubs the whole time?
Yeah.
Throws down his hand, gets up off the table,
Wins
and walks
too. Don't even take the money.
Yeah, fuck the chips. Like, leave them for the peasants.
What about fucking D-Man? Michael Chow. New shit has come to light.
I mean, I would say best episode of the season so far.
Yeah.
Probably the comfiest of the season, as in like this is the trademark episode that we get in every season of Dexter.
The tipping point?
Well, it's the point where all the different plot threads
start coming together,
kind of start to coalesce.
Well,
but it's one of those cases where everything's a little too convenient.
Well, dude, how Dexter was it for her to show up there and Sergeant Lieutenant Petite to be there? You know, like it was like, he's here.
He looks the same.
Like, yeah, dude. And the podcast chick is like, fucking, I did a fucking podcast on this case, and you know she's go back, let's listen to that on the way home. It's going like, no.
Yeah. Well, also, and they also did something cool too, where you know how like you have unspoken things, like whenever something calls back to something and it makes you say a certain line in your head. Like for instance, you know, at this point now, anything Captain America related will always be like, I can do this all day.
Yeah.
And you're like, you know, same way in Dexter is in like, for me, when she prints out the obituary and that paper lands and you see it, like it my mind, I just was like, "Hello, Dexter Morgan."
Yeah.
Like
So
that's that moment.
he's gonna have to tell her he either faked his death because of there was a serial killer. Like
Yeah.
he's gonna lie to her, right? Or is he just gonna
I
straight go
mean,
on the run?
Well,
At least try to lie first.
and
yeah.
She's a woman;
speaking of
she'll
my,
probably believe it.
well, speaking of my
Just
blue,
spin the
well,
yarn.
speaking of my blue balls joke a minute ago, what about blue balls for not only Dexter but the fucking other guy too? Because they both couldn't get the kill they wanted to
Oh, he
save their
was so
fucking
pissed.
life.
Yeah.
That's the way I took it. Like whenever dude was down there.
Oh, when he had to shoot
Uh,
her without her running away.
well, yeah, well. If you remember too,
He didn't
man,
like that.
you could tell things were off because when he's sitting there on the computer and he's observing her and shit, and she starts taking her shit off, he
Yeah.
hits that button. He's like, "Hey, bitch, this ain't about that."
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, he's
like
got some
it's
issues.
the ritual was fucked up in the same sense that Dexter's rituals have been messed up too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He kind of went off script though, going to that dude's house, and he's like, "I'll have to improvise a kill room," And it was like, "Why? Don't do it
Yeah.
here."
Yeah, for
Well,
real.
I love the little one line, the little throwaway line where he's getting the ketamine and the fucking like all his shit from that woman. She's like, "Just go get it out of the cabinet. I'll bill you later." And he
There's that
sees those roll of
plastic.
plastic and
Yeah.
he's like, "One stop shop." And he goes,
Yeah. Files, dude. That motherfucking cop catches him twice.
I
Yeah.
know,
He's
like
Dokes,
how.
man. Did y'all not get
Yeah, that's
Dokes
what I
vibes
was.
off of him? Like,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh well, when he
When he
tells
was
the drug
sitting out
dealer,
there in the car, I was like, "That's Dokes as fuck, man. He's
when
on to
he
your ass."
when he's interrogating that guy, he looks at him and he goes, after he says the whole like, 18 people have died. I
Yeah.
saved 19 if I hadn't been there. And then they're both shit talking. Then finally he just leans in and he's like, I'm a patient man and I'm a vengeful man. And at that point too, Dexter perks up and he's like, now you're fucking creeping me
Yeah.
out. Like,
He said, "I'm intimidated."
yeah. And regardless of whether he always stayed a step ahead of Dokes, Dexter absolutely feared Dokes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like that was something that it was never openly said in the show, but if you went back and watched it again at some point or whatever, you can absolutely be like Dex was fearful of
Well,
himself
he
around
didn't want
that
him to
guy.
blow his cover because he had a sweet little honey hole there. Fucking hanging out
And
with what was the little Asian guy's name?
Masuka.
Yeah, all the little talks he had with him, his little inappropriate chats,
Yeah.
He had a little sweet little setup.
Well, another thing, and I think I think I remember telling Adam about this. There's that whole moment where he's it's when him and Deborah, or when Deborah's talking to him and all that kind of shit, and she's like, you don't want to tell him the truth because you don't want to tell him that you've got, all the countless bodies chopped into a bunch of pieces swimming in the Atlantic. And I was thinking about the later end of the show, of the previous show, and how he corrects that mistake because they were just dumping them. And there's that whole plot point where they started retrieving the bodies out of the bay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Dexter realized he needed to just go a little bit further.
Yeah.
He dropped the bags there, and the current would take it out to the fucking Atlantic Ocean.
Mm-hmm.
And I just got to think, I was like, man, like, after 10 years, I wonder how many bodies have yet to be recovered from the Bay Harbor Butcher. Because that's what Dexter's code name is.
Yeah.
And that's just a creepy thought now. Like, it's something I never gave too much thought of because, like, when you watch the original show, you're caught up in, Dexter getting away. Like, how's he gonna get out of it? But you're not necessarily thinking about what he's actually done, the gravity of his situation at large. And you think about his actual body count now that so much time's passed and they kind of brought it up and everything. And that line got, it had me thinking about it. And I was like, dude, think about, like, he's been thinning the herd in Miami for a long fucking time.
Yeah.
And that, I don't know, it's just a creepy thought.
Yeah. So, do y'all have any predictions or anything for what could possibly be happening or anything like that?
I think he
I
might
have
tell her that he's like witness protection. Because she would have no way of knowing. Like, they don't inform,
Yeah. Yeah.
for his own safety. Or it's just going to go off the rails. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
Because she's the
That's
police
alright.
chief.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that Harrison, of course, is going to get a job at the diner. And then I think dude's going to become, more increasingly ill because of how the kill went down.
Yeah.
And he's going to start lashing out at people that work at the diner and everything. And then he's going to fuck up, and Harrison's going to start asking too many questions. And that's going to be the tipping point to where either Harrison says or does something that gives him the clue that Dexter killed his son, or he's going to try to kill Harrison. And that's going to be the tipping point for Dexter to like get all this shit under control.
Yeah.
Well,
But how? Because his old lady's coming back.
Yeah.
With, whoa. Like, I don't know if we're going to be able to just walk around town without. That's why Harrison stayed, though, because that dude, like, let his evil show a little bit. Remember what he said? He said something like, you never get it under control or something.
Yeah, yeah.
And Harrison was like, wait, what'd you say? He's like, found me another one.
Well, see, that was a topic my wife and I were discussing about it. And a theory we came up with was, what if a twist in the show, because it seems Harrison's fate seems almost too predictable.
Yeah.
Like either Dexter's going to teach him the code, or something of that nature, where we're eventually going to see that Harrison's fucked up and killing people too. And we already saw the introduction of what could be that with the razor and everything. And we got to thinking, because dude showed him that little extra bit of fatherly love when, dude tries to maybe put him in the room down there, Harrison's like, hey, this is my jam, dude. I want to be a part of it. I want to help you. And what if he starts killing with that guy? Because the whole episode, there's these parallels between Dexter and him.
Yeah.
Down, like all the way down to how they talk to Harrison. And how Harrison chooses, like, there's it's not that they're fighting over Harrison, but like Harrison's internal loyalty feels like it's going to start being in play now.
Right.
Because the guy straight up was giving him the tough love that honestly Dexter wasn't giving him. Like, Dexter should have been the one that said, hey, you're going to get a fucking job, man. You're not going to sit around on my couch and be a moot. You're going to go to school, but you're also going to work. Like, you're going to get a dose of the real world. Like, and just little things that seemed very fatherly on that dude's aspect. That's like, well, why are you doing that shit? And we know why. It's because he's trying to get him in the room.
Yeah.
But it would be an interesting turn of events if you find out that Harrison confides in him a little bit more than Dexter. And, you see the situation where Dexter's going to kill him, reveal to Harrison, hey, I'm not just a monster. I'm the monster, dude. Like, you're all just fucking lambs to me. Like, really, you know what I mean? Like, just this really balls out moment where Dexter just lets out, and like the only a way Michael C. Hall could like deliver the dialogue of like, I'm the apex predator, dude, and you fucking chose to live with the prey.
Yeah. And I do think that he's gonna lie his way out of it, but I think that her daughter is not gonna let it go. I think she's got the cop has too much shit going on to like Dexter's gonna be able to more or less convince her whatever he wants to tell her. But I think that the daughter's gonna be like, the fucking Harrison, when he was ODing on goddamn fentanyl, said this fucking weird thing, and it's like, bitch,
Well, you got to think they could write that off as like, man, Harrison was just fucked up on drugs.
Well, I'm sure that's what they'll downplay it as, but I do think that she'll keep pushing the topic because, like, look, dude, I've seen people.
A picture of him His obituary.
I think podcast chick's probably gonna get that. She's gonna see the slabs as well.
Yeah.
Or I think Harrison's gonna kill her because he was listening to her podcast talking about his mother.
Yeah. That's a possibility. But I don't know. I'm excited for whatever's going to be happening here because it's it's been pretty good so far. So
yeah.
I did watch Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Your thoughts?
I've enjoyed it so far. I know there's a lot of people that online that have been talking about it that haven't really been enjoying it as much as some of the other Marvel series, but like whenever they announced the Hawkeye series, I was hoping that it was just going to be about what he was doing before the events of Endgame. And it's taken, of course, it's doing a little bit of a different turn. He's dealing, not only is he mentally dealing with the shit that he's done during that time in the Ronin costume and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of like the foundation that they're building the series on. And then they're adding other things with Kate Bishop and, some of these other characters. So I enjoy it so far. I'm interested to see how it's going to play out. It's going to be, I was kind of hoping it was going to be a little bit more serious than I think it's going to be.
Yeah. I
And
ended up watching both episodes.
Yeah, I watched
You
both
watched
of
them
them
both?
too.
Okay. So him LARPing, dude, how funny was that shit? So
Oh,
it's got it, but it was funny. Him going through there in slow motion.
I
Yeah.
He's like,
think
I fought
I
Thanos.
think I feel like it's gonna play safe and fun for a little while. I think by the end of the story, though, it's gonna like the quips will be there. It's Marvel. That's not.
Yeah.
That's just not gonna go away.
Yeah.
But I think it's gonna get increasingly serious, and as it slowly becomes more personal for
Clint.
Hawkeye. Yeah.
Yeah.
That musical.
I'm.
Oh,
Oh,
my
dude,
God.
that shit was
After the
hilarious.
credits.
Yeah. That
I
was.
was like, this is a little on the nose here. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I think I enjoy it because it's one of those things where, and I think we've talked about it before. I really like what I like about the MCU is that the Avenger movies are not overlooked in terms of like what's happened, like in terms of the collateral damage, the
Yeah.
toll that this stuff takes on the street level heroes. Like,
Yeah.
for instance, like with Hawkeye, like he's gone deaf in one ear
Yeah.
from all the explosions and all that stuff. Kind of in the same beat that, even though it's technically quote unquote not canon, with Daredevil, Daredevil doesn't just keep running after the next guy. Like he'll fight, he'll get his shit pushed in just as much as he's pushing theirs in, and then he's got to recoup before he goes and dons the fucking cowl again.
Yeah.
And with Hawkeye, I like how it's like even the first Avengers movie, the ramifications from it, there's still so much to be done, so much story to tell in regards to the aftermath of these ridiculous battles that happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I liked how they used it as at least as the setup for Bishop. The whole idea of her being inspired by Hawkeye. He's the hero that saved her. She's the first fucking thing that she sees in like a terrifying instance. And, for all the comedy that it has, there are moments in the show where shit gets real that does pull you back down to be like, no, like these are part of our heroes that these people can die by a shot to the head from a gun,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously Disney's gonna plot armor the shit out of that so it don't happen, but
Yeah.
people took some bullets.
Yeah.
I was surprised to see that much shooting.
Love the Ant-Man reference.
Yeah.
Have y'all seen that yet?
I've seen a clip of it, but I haven't watched the third episode yet.
I haven't seen it.
Well, there's an arrow with a fucking Pym logo on it, and I'll leave it at that.
But so far, I mean, and it's cool that like, I mean, I think Kate Bishop's fine. You know what I mean? Like, I don't mind the character. I don't mind the actress that's playing the character. I think that she's going to be fine.
Yeah.
I think that like, I think there's more to explore with this character, and this is what I'll say about it. I think that like they're having a good cutesy little time right now, right? But like, she's going to have to go through, like you're talking about, Trav, the Daredevil shit. Because, like, think about it. She's teaming up with Hawkeye. At the end of the series, it's going to be a situation to where they're going to go their separate ways. She's going to do whatever the hell she's going to do. Hawkeye's going to go back to his family and he's going to continue to live his life. So she's going to go out there, and this is what I would realistically like to see. She's going to go out there and she's going to try to be this like wisecracking smart ass and all this. And I just want someone to beat the literal dog shit out of her. Okay? And I know that sounds terrible, but she's going to have to get her ass beat so goddamn bad to realize that she's not fucking bulletproof.
Like
but it's
Arnold was
also
telling her she's not. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I think that's going to be part of the climax, because we got to also remember, not only is this a continuation of Hawkeye's story, this is her origin story.
Yeah.
So we haven't gotten her even remotely in her final form yet.
Yeah,
and I think
What if she has to fight the boyfriend and the boyfriend kills her mother or something? Like
that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, first off, I don't think
you already
an
know
actress
this
like
motherfucker's up to something. He's
I feel like
super
I don't think Vera Farmiga is gonna tie herself down to the MCU when she can easily get working so much other stuff. I see her as a one season
one and done
show up.
Well, yeah, and
So I'm feeling the mother. Well,
crime,
yeah,
you know?
the mother's gonna die. I think that's gonna be the coming of age moment.
She couldn't stop it.
Yeah,
you know,
because you're absolutely right, Griffin. She's very confident in herself right now. Like, and there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. It's very Spider-Man of her, but she hasn't suffered the losses that Spider-Man has either yet. So, I think the turn's coming. That's what I'm holding out for.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's what I want to see. Like, even if they don't do it in this and they decide to do it in like another series, because like somebody's going to have to knock her off of her pedestal. And like,
well, I mean, ironically, I think the ending of the show, it's going to be Die Hard in the Marvel universe.
I mean, yeah.
Because it would be interesting if by the end of the season, because the show takes place during Christmas. Marvel's known for referencing all kinds of shit. I wouldn't be surprised if the final boss is at the top of a fucking skyscraper and Hawkeye and Co have to fight their way up there. Or maybe Hawkeye's incapacitated for some reason and Bishop's got to, stop joking for a minute and actually fight the fuck out.
Yeah. So I'm interested to see what happens, but I am hoping that like there is that moment, there is that turning point, because like that's what I loved about Daredevil so much. Like he's out there he's seeing this every single day in the courtroom and who's getting away with what, and he's going out there and dishing his own version of punishment out to these people. And like, yeah, and
I
he
still
gets
think he holds the award still for best hallway fight scene.
Yeah.
That very first one he does, where it's just the one continuous shot and he saves that little boy.
Yeah.
That's still probably one of the most like good old fashioned heroic scenes like of a superhero period. There's no laser beams, there's no fucking Matrix fighting where people get hit and launched 10 fucking yards one way and all that shit. It's just a classic dude with so much rage and is just letting that shit out, all while just being committed to the cause of getting in and getting the fuck out.
Yeah. But we also seen that character develop, like in the first season, in some of the first episodes, he was in these situations to where like he got his ass beat to the point where he was almost fucking dead. And like he upgraded in that moment. Like, and he was always a serious character. And I'm not saying that he didn't, that was a turning point for his characterization, but it's just that realization that he had at that moment. And that made him like,
well, it's the first true superhero moment we get from him.
Yeah. And it all culminated nicely into what season 2 did with the Punisher. And
right, because that's the thing. Even though he beat the absolute shit out of 20 men, didn't kill a single fucking one of them.
Yeah, exactly.
And that contrasts beautifully with the Punisher just straight up wiping out a warehouse.
Yeah. So, but I'm excited for whatever they're doing. Like it's been good so far. Yeah. And I'm excited to see more. And I think that, she's going to be a good addition. And, is she going to get picked up by Elaine? That's another thing too that I've been wondering because, Black Widow's replacement got picked up by her along with, US Agent. So I'm interested to see if she goes out. Like if they're basically doing a Thunderbolts thing with it.
Well, that's one of the most underrated end credit things that's been going on right now. Part of me wonders if she's recruited. Like, it would be an interesting take if not only is Nick Fury preparing for the secret invasion to deal with the Skrulls and all that stuff, but I wonder if the government has already greenlit stuff with Ross to be like, we need to get some people together to start finding out who's who.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it would be cool if that's what that big reveal for what they're doing is, instead of like, oh, we're the Thunderbolts, we're here to keep the heroes in check.
Yeah, and that could lead to the next like Civil War type situation and all this other shit. So, we'll see.
Yeah.
Something that I like that they did was they kind of show you how Hawkeye really doesn't get some of the respect that the other Avengers get.
Yeah.
Well, he's
like if Thor shows up to fucking LARP, he ain't signing shit, dude. You know what I mean? Like,
did y'all see Hawkeye's classic costume in the LARP?
Yeah, I saw that. That was a nice little.
I didn't see it until post episode, but I did go back and look for it.
But like the guy in the bathroom.
Yeah,
dude,
fuck off.
I'm taking a piss.
Yeah. God
I'm
damn,
holding
dude.
my dick right now.
Yeah.
And you're way too close.
Yeah. Do you want to hold it for me?
Yeah.
Because I'll let you. Like, go on. So.
Yeah.
So we got a little bit of movie news here. So they're projecting opening weekend Spider-Man No Way Home 500 million.
This is off of pre-sales already.
It says the latest predictions for opening weekend have estimated the movie will bring in more than double the amount most movies of the last 18 months made throughout their entire cinematic run. Latest projections from Box Office Pro, shared on Twitter by Charlie Jatender, have suggested that the latest Marvel outing for Spider-Man is heading towards a 200 million or above opening weekend domestically and possibly 500 million worldwide. 10 days prior to release, Spider-Man No Way Home has sold just under $60 million worth of tickets at Dom box office, including 40 million for opening day, expecting 200 to 240 million opening weekend. So yeah, I mean, if it's sold, that's and 60 million and 40 million of it is for opening day.
And there's still people are trying to get tickets,
Yeah.
I mean, that's great. So this is going to be the first movie since COVID.
Yeah, to be raking money in. Like that kind of money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm excited, and it's coming out like soon. Like,
yeah,
I want to go see it, So, but yeah, I think that like this might be the highest grossing Marvel movie of all time.
But it'll probably be one of the most highly criticized as well. I think it sets itself up for that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Because this movie is going to set the tone for how we go into Doctor Strange, any of the multiverse centric stories that are going on.
Yeah.
I think this is going to set the tone for a lot of that moving forward.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
And
gonna be a banger, man.
It is.
I feel like it is too, but I'm not giving my hopes up. I'm not just gonna write it off as amazing just yet, because I mean, it could be one of those situations where a lot of questionable decisions get made with a lot of really good sandbox toys, because that's what this is starting to look like now, a sandbox movie where you have all these great different characters. You have so many ways to craft a good story, and it's which one do you go with?
Yeah.
Well, Feige's done it
And
with more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At least
you're
it's
not
him
wrong.
that's doing it. This
Yeah.
ain't just a Sony thing,
Yeah.
because we just watched a Sony thing.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder how many times in the writers' room when they were putting this film together were they were they like, man, let's pump the brakes, because they look at their whiteboard and it looks like fucking Einstein figuring out relativity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
like
I
a
don't know.
Trello board for the movie.
I'm I'm just as excited as the next person for it, man. I really am, and I'm just gonna be excited to see Defoe as Green Goblin. And even though I'm certainly not someone that looks for Alfred Molina films to watch, I'm definitely excited to see Goblin and Doc Ock again, especially the Ramy versions. And that's
Yeah. Absolutely. So we got Rogue Squadron back on track with Patty Jenkins.
Ah,
Dum, dum,
damn
dum,
it.
dum, brr. Says a few days ago it was announced that Lucasfilm had indefinitely delayed Star Wars Rogue Squadron due to creative differences with director Patty Jenkins. But now a new report claims that Jenkins is still attached as director, and Rogue Squadron is sticking by its original 2023 release date. Jenkins recently handed over the directorial duties to Paramount's Cleopatra to Falcon and Winter Soldier director Kari Skoglund. Jenkins will now serve as a producer on Cleopatra alongside lead star Gal Gadot. As per Justin Kroll at Deadline, Jenkins fell off as director so she could focus on her next two projects, Wonder Woman 3 and Rogue Squadron. Jenkins and Lucasfilm haven't confirmed the reports, but with Paramount eager to get cameras rolling on Cleopatra, Gal Gadot will be preoccupied for some time. With this shift in schedule, Jenkins may prioritize Rogue Squadron over Wonder Woman 3 as her next film project. Fans were initially...
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, fans were initially thrilled with the announcement, but after the lukewarm reception of Wonder Woman 1984, the hype died down a bit. But still, it was great to see an accomplished filmmaker like Patty Jenkins direct an original Star Wars movie, even after the disappointing Wonder Woman 84. Jenkins remains an amazing filmmaker who has filmed outstanding movies like the 2003 drama Monster, starring Charlize Theron, as serial killer Aileen Warrens. She has also directed episodes of the television dramas The Killing and Entourage. Plus, Jenkins is quite passionate about the project and has been working on the script with Love and Monster scribe Matthew Robinson for a long time. So
the article you read last week about her was so much better.
It was.
I think she just big boy. I don't. Trav, were you back when we read that? You were there. We read that, right? Was it last week or the week before?
No,
We had read some articles. Okay, well, they were like, she was moving away, gonna focus on her other movies. Squadron's on the back burner. I think she just big boyed them.
Yeah.
She was just like, okay, well, I'm just gonna go away and do something else. And they were like, no. What do you want?
Well, here's the thing too, and bear with me. So at Lucasfilm, is that where Filoni and Favreau have the most pull right now?
I believe so.
Or is it still Kathleen Kennedy?
It's still.
Well, she's still
we
ahead.
talked about that. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
she is still
as
ahead.
far as but there's a lot of pull from Favreau and Filoni.
Yeah, I mean.
Okay, I'm saying all that to say, as long as with her writing, because it says here in the article that Griff posted, it says it came as a surprise to everyone when Lucasfilm removed it. Then reports of creative differences between the studio and the film's director, Patty Jenkins, came to light, evoking memories of similar scenarios happening several times in the past. Josh Trank, Colin Trevorrow, Rian Johnson, David D&D from Game of Thrones, Phil Lord, and Christopher Miller all left Star Wars movies alleging micromanagement from Lucasfilm bosses, meaning that Lucasfilm was like, hey,
yeah,
pump the brakes. Well, if this time around it's Filoni and Favreau with their work on Mandalorian and the animated
they're working
stuff,
on that. You know what I mean?
But what I'm saying is, but like they're moving into Feige's top positions though, are they not?
I don't know. I mean, this
I'm just
squadron
saying,
thing is just gonna be its own thing.
Well, I mean, I'm hoping that it's something where, if it's with it being slated as an original story, it would be interesting if whoever the main character be, doesn't matter, but that you get a whole new rogue squadron lined up, but you have the main character and they're in this X-wing or whatever, and they're like, hey, you don't know who's that used to be, do you? And they're like, what? And you find out somehow maybe Luke had another. Well, I know Luke took his X-wing to Acto, blah 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 blah. Well, in Mandalorian, he still had it.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if I want there to be a Luke Skywalker reference. I think that's what it is, and I think that's what I'm fishing for out of all this and trying to do the mental gymnastics for.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah.
They found some way to tie those together and make it, not have too much of a plot hole.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that Josh Trank and Colin Trevorrow were attached to this.
Yeah.
Or to something Star Wars related.
Right.
Because Trank did, he got trashed for the Fantastic Four reboot. And Colin Trevorrow, we know Trevorrow from the recent Jurassic Park movies.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's the thing though, man. It's like they don't have their shit together. So over
at all. Over at Lucasfilm. All.
So I mean, it doesn't like everybody wants to play in that world, but like who wants to deal with the headache? So I mean,
while we're on the topic of Star Wars, I'm gonna drop this in trailers. We can watch it when we get to trailer time. But there is a Old Republic short film fan made, just full disclosure, coming out on Christmas Eve. It's got blessings from the from Lucasfilm and everything.
Is it the one guy that does all those fan films?
I'm not sure, man. What I do know is the entire thing is done in the Unreal Engine. And so part of me is wondering is if it got the blessings of Lucasfilm, I'm wondering if and this is tying into more video game really than, than movie, but it makes me wonder if they're remaking Knights of the Old Republic. That's been on the agenda for quite some time. I'm wondering if this team here that's making this short film, if they've more or less done the work for them using Unreal Engine 5, and they were like, you know what, you can keep going on with your movie, but we want all your assets and all your, we want access to what you made.
Yeah.
To use for our shit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's purely just speculation. But I saw this trailer. A friend of mine sent it to me. Did the dive on it and saw that it was Lucasfilm approved and all that shit. And I mean, it might be worth a gander.
Yeah. We'll check it out. I'm going to skip around a little bit because the way that these articles pulled up on the thing, but Kevin Feige confirms Daredevil won't be recast in MCU, teases Charlie Cox's return. Says if the rumors are true and Matt Murdock is coming back to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, we can expect for it to be Charlie Cox back in the role. Previously, Cox played Daredevil in all 3 seasons at Netflix because the show was such a tremendous hit. With fans, there have been demands ever since for Marvel Studios to bring back Cox's Daredevil in the MCU after Netflix pulled the plug on the original series.
More Cox.
Nothing. Yeah, right. Nothing is officially confirmed at this time, but there are rampant rumors of an imminent Daredevil return. Cox is rumored to appear in the role in this month's Spider-Man No Way Home. He has also been rumored to appear in the upcoming She-Hulk series at Disney Plus, and that also seems very possible given the courtroom setting of the new series. It seems more likely that not Cox will appear in one or the other, if not both, or perhaps even elsewhere in the MCU. Better yet, it will be the same actor, as Feige recently confirmed a cinema blend. If you were to see Daredevil in upcoming things, Charlie Cox, yes, would be the actor playing Daredevil. Where we see that, how we see that, when we see that, remains to be seen. Feige is making sure to have the word if in there, carefully avoiding the reveal of any specific surprises. The truth is, most of us are expecting Cox's Matt Murdock to arrive at some point, but there's still a big part of the fun in wondering where and when this might be. With that being the case, his potential arrival should still come across as an amazing surprise. Whenever this special appearance might happen, let's just hope it might also lead to additional seasons or a new TV series with Daredevil. Says here that Cox suggested that Daredevil characters would be reimagined versions if they do happen to arrive in the MCU, which is honestly bittersweet. This suggests that the Netflix series isn't canon in the MCU, so all 3 seasons Marvel fans had invested in during that show may no longer count. I don't think that they'll do that.
Oh man.
Well, here's the thing.
Multiverses.
In Daredevil season 1, the events of the Avengers are blatantly referenced.
Oh yeah, several times.
It is not it's not a stretch of the imagination that even though we do not see Murdock anymore, that is not to say that he's still not protecting Hell's Kitchen.
Right.
So I
exactly.
think the concept of whether Daredevil is canonical or not, I feel like that I don't know. I don't see the genuine argument for it not being, because the whole, even though I didn't watch all of Jessica Jones and the other 2 shows and the Defenders team up, I think that it's safe to say that, they're street level villains. They're going to be doing street level shit.
Yeah.
Most of the cinematic stuff that we see is always going to be the more outlandish, the more fantastical stories. Like, why are you worried about what's going on in the five boroughs when Homeboy's got these 10 rings that
when somebody's trying to destroy the world.
You go to another fucking dimension,
Yeah. Well, but here's one thing to say too, like Hawkeye is setting up to just be these ground level villains, like in more ways than one. So it's like, which we haven't watched the 3rd episode yet, and I'm sure that there's some revelations in there, this, that, and the other. But what I'm saying though is like, okay, we've got 1 or 2. I don't know exactly. When does Hawkeye come out? What day does it drop?
Wednesdays. The 3rd episode's already out. I've already watched it.
Right. So we've got 2 more episodes that are going to air before Spider-Man comes out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hawkeye's in New York. It's not far-fetched to think that he might show up in Hawkeye, and I think that not a lot of people have considered that.
He is there.
But Yeah, but that is a possibility by all means.
Or
So
yeah, something as simple as because another character that's rumored to show up in Hawkeye's Kingpin, played by Vincent D'Onofrio as well.
yeah,
Like he's not
yeah,
recast,
yeah,
and it would be interesting if even if we get to where we see some stuff where uh Murdoch's only referenced as like a headline on the TV, like
yeah,
like some cases going on, or like the Spider-Man trials are happening,
yeah,
and you see Murdoch steps in as Peter Parker's lawyer.
yeah. I mean, because we've got 2 more episodes, a lot of stuff can happen in 2 hours of television. So,
Yeah,
and who knows? And to be fair, like Charlie Cox doesn't want to say shit because he's so fucking scared. Kevin Feige put the
but I do
yeah,
think, I don't think, I th- I don't think any major hero is probably going to be is going to like show up on screen in Hawkeye, simply because I think it's the same, for the same reasons as I said with like WandaVision and all that kind of stuff. The minute someone else steps in, the show's no longer about Hawkeye anymore.
yeah,
And so they've got to really keep the spotlight on Clint and company, and making sure, make sure that at the end of the day they're still telling a Hawkeye story, and not a, oh well, it starts with Hawkeye doing all this stuff, and well, he just couldn't handle it, and so and so shows up and they were able to do it.
yeah. Well, and
That would be an insult to Hawkeye, because I'm trying to fight through the campiness of Hawkeye, because I genuinely think it's building up to something significant and meaningful, because Hawkeye and Black Widow are both the most human of the Avengers,
mhm,
or the most normal of them anyway. And I think this show could possibly fix some of the things that were wrong with the Black Widow film, as well as be able to kind of put a big bow on them too, as far as their solo adventures, or at least for Hawkeye, so that, because now that we have Hawkeye, now all the original Avengers have their own like one shot.
yeah. So, well, on the heels of Feige coming out and talking about Daredevil, he also came out and said, he teases that more Netflix Marvel characters will appear in the MCU. So it says Charlie Cox is going to remain Marvel's one and only Daredevil, as Feige recently said that this role won't be recast for the MCU. Feige was careful not to officially confirm that Cox's arrival is imminent, as he refused to say for sure when it was happening. Only noting that if Matt Murdock were to appear in the MCU, it would be with Cox in the role. It was, I'm like 12 over here. It was enough to get
Feige
many
gets on
fans.
the phone, give me Cox.
Yeah, I need all the Cox. It was enough to get many fans excited, as it hints at Cox popping up in that role, and likely very soon. Marvel fans will be happy to see Cox as Matt Murdock again. And the same,
Take a sip every time you say Cox, right?
yeah. And the same can be said for D'Onofrio's Kingpin, who's rumored to show up in Hawkeye. These discussions also have fans wondering about the status of other characters from Netflix Defenders verse: Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and the Punisher. Feige was directly asked by Screen Rant after the Cox news broke if audiences could see those other heroes on the screen again in the near future, and this is what he had to say. I always say that whenever a character comes back into the Marvel sandbox, it becomes another tool in the storytelling ability of the MCU. As I said before, the good news is all will be revealed when people actually finally watch.
I feel
Fair
What?
like
enough. Fair enough, Feige.
at the Marvel Studios, they got their little room they ride in. They got their SWAT board.
Yeah.
Up in the corner of the SWAT board, it says Cox Tease, and it's circled. And because they've just been teasing this shit
Yeah,
for
for sure,
weeks,
man.
man. And then, like, remember weeks ago, it was like the motherfucker was doing all these interviews, and they're like, "Are you gonna play Daredevil again?" He's like, "Nah, nah, nah." Like he,
Like, you know
it's like,
how
well, why are you doing an interview?
You know how
Teasing
what was
him.
I getting at? Well, like you know how with all of these, like you're saying, Adam, like they have this room where they're all, where the story moves forward. Like this is where that all the final decisions are made. All of this, you got to think, man. Throughout all of the movies that have come out, all of the episodes of TV, both Netflix and Disney Plus now, all of the scripts that all this time was put into, and they just got like, no, we're not using it.
Yeah.
It would be cool with us living in the age now where people will have a script, whether it's a film it's usually a film that's out, but they'll publish the script and we'll get a really nice, edition of them that you can get, a good hardback edition you can find. It would be cool if Marvel did some sort of collector's thing called variants to kind of play on the Loki thing. But it's just these scripts, these alternate stories that never got made. And it's just kind of like a little like, all right, guys, here's something we're not gonna ever use again.
Yeah. You
This
can
was
buy it,
this was
put it on
how
the
this
shelf.
could. Yeah, here's an alternate telling of this episode, or and it could be something where really ridiculous shit happens, where like a character shows up that didn't, or something plays out drastically differently than what we got, and I just think that would be a cool read because I feel like now, granted, I haven't read anything comic wise with the TVA and the whole referencing of calling people variants, but I think one reference you could look at by calling these alternate versions of people variants is like with the comics. You have a variant issue where the artwork is this. It's done by they get a particular artist to go, hey, make us a new cover for this issue because it's a special variant we're going to put out.
Yeah.
Like usually a lot of issue ones of a lot of newer, or when I say newer, I'm meaning like from 2000 2010, because I couldn't tell you shit about what's going on in certain lore now, but it's always been around that there's these variants you have of comics where you could have collect the whole set. They're the guava bowls of art,
Mm-hmm.
and it would be cool to be able to get a hold of some of these unused scripts, maybe.
Yeah,
Well,
if
sure.
there's
They
a
got to make
backup
sure
of
they
them
ain't going to
somewhere.
use it first.
well, here's
Yeah,
the
that's
thing. We've
true.
already got that. It's called throw them into the melting pot of what if.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
'cause
you're right, because the basis for what if those stories, uh a lot of them were old movie scripts that they used. Like the one that was like, I believe, a what if that there was a what if they wrote of Thor that eventually became, I think, the basis of Love and Thunder.
yeah. So,
So I mean, you're right, Griff. You called that. Which, if
um,
you haven't watched What If, Griffin, I don't know if you've still watched it or not yet.
no, not yet, but it is
Man,
on the list.
it
I
is
know.
so worth your motherfucking time, man.
I know. My brother, every time I see him, he's like, "You watch What If?" I'm like, "Not yet," and he's like, "Dude." I'm like, "I
Like,
know."
no shit, man. They're only 30 minutes, man. You could cook dinner and watch an episode and be good. Like they're
Right.
they're worth the time, man.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely going to get up on there and check them out, man. I just haven't, just haven't had the time.
Yeah.
One thing here though is like, this is what Feige he said in this quote. As I said before, the good news is all will be revealed when people actually finally watch. Okay, what is he referring to?
All.
I mean, to me, what that sounds like, and I may be taking this completely the wrong way, but what that sounds like to me is that like watch what? Doctor
Spider-Man.
Strange,
Well,
Spider Man.
Gotta
I
be
think it's a
Spider-Man.
little bit. I think it's more generalized. I think he's saying it'll be revealed when you see it, when we make it.
Yeah, and that's
Meaning,
probably how he meant it. But you know how he's always dropping this bullshit. You know what I mean?
Hot
Like,
takes, man.
well, I mean, think about it. He says, well, let's analyze the quote. And he says, when it comes back to the Marvel sandbox, it becomes another tool in the storytelling ability. When I think tool and storytelling ability, I think of, okay, they'll show up. They just don't expect like Marvel Studios presents Daredevil the motion picture.
Yeah.
Like that's not gonna happen. I think it's gonna be
That's why they got
okay.
TV
Some
shows
shit
before.
happens. Well,
They're
like yeah,
not
they're
movies.
gonna show up. Yeah, you're gonna see the Man Without Fear roll up and help Spider-Man, or he's gonna show up at the Avengers. They'll because I feel like there's gonna be a callback joke to Endgame when Strange steps out and looks at Wong and goes, "Is that everybody?" And dude goes, "You wanted more." I think that's gonna get referenced again.
Yeah.
And Wong's gonna be like, "That's all I got." Like he has like a quit moment where he looks at Strange. And he's like, "Look, I can't possibly get anybody else here."
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's going to be a clutch move again. But what's going to be interesting is instead of like pulling people out of the portals that are from this universe, that he's going like Strange. I see Strange eventually being able to just multiverse hop at will. Like one of those things where it's an OP move, he just doesn't do it. And it's because of what we're seeing now.
Right. Well, I'm excited. I'm ready for them to do whatever they gonna do with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, consume like
Yeah.
that. I'm hidden under the spell of that for sure for Marvel.
Yeah. We're here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
Yeah.
M. Night Shyamalama Ding Dong recruits Dave Bautista for Knock at the Cabin. Says Bautista's finally lined up his next starring role. The Dune and Army of the Dead star has just boarded the cast of Knock at the Cabin, the next movie from M. Night Shyamalan. From Universal Pictures, the movie is scheduled for an early 2023 release, though it's not clear when filming will begin on this project. It's the latest collaboration for the studio and Shyamalan following the recent release of Old. For Knock at the Cabin, Shyamalan will write and direct as he typically does with his movies. He's also producing with Ashwin Rahan under the Blinded Edge Pictures banner alongside Mark Beinstock and Steven Schneider. Reportedly, Dave Bautista was quick to jump on board the project just for the opportunity to work with Shyamalan. So just going to throw this out into the atmosphere and see what happens. Here we go. Mia Momoa and a Lethal Weapon. So they're working on a Lethal Weapon buddy comedy movie with Jason Momoa and Dave Bautista. So that's what he's referring to here. I thought he was talking about Knock at the Cabin. But here's what I will say about Bautista. I'm so happy that this dude is not getting completely typecast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he broke big with Guardians. He played, a very comedic character in Guardians, even though his story was a tragedy. He was very comedic, his timing and everything. But him doing serious roles like Army of the Dead, he was great in that. His role in Blade Runner, even though he was only in it for 10 minutes.
I'm glad you brought that up, and the same applies for Dune. I agree with everything you said, but I can't help but point out the fact that honestly, Batista doesn't do much in all of the big movies that he does, but outside of like Army of the Dead and Guardians.
Yeah.
In Dune, he literally just shows up on screen to scream for a second and to look menacing.
And he did.
And that's it.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for him to play the role that makes me go, hot damn, okay.
I think we'll get it from Shyamalan. I mean, his delivery and everything in Blade Runner, that one scene had me convinced 1,000%. Like this dude can be a legitimate serious actor.
Well, and I absolutely agree. I hate that that's what it was limited to though. Was that scene like that? Like if he was carrying those kinds of chops, they could have easily had him right under the goose and forward the whole time.
Yeah. But I really enjoyed Old. Like everything that Shyamalan has done since the great Avatar debacle. That's what I'm going to call it.
Yeah.
Well, outside of Avatar, even whether they're good or they're bad, Shyamalan's movies are different,
Yeah.
and there's something to be said for that.
Oh yeah, for sure. So I'm excited, and I like with him keeping with this kind of like horror aesthetic. You know, like Split was kind of a horror film. Glass was kind of a psychological film. Um, Old was definitely more horror leaning. So I like it when he fucking does that shit, man. I'm just a sucker for Shyamalan weirdness, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So next up, this is something that's very interesting. Dark Horse Comics preparing for major Hollywood sale. Dark Horse Comics might just be next in a long line of production houses looking to sell their intellectual property, entirely or part of it, to major business houses. Dark Horse Entertainment, the television and film arm of Dark Horse Comics, might become a part of a major Hollywood banner or a raging OTT platform like Netflix, Disney Plus, or Hulu. Dark Horse Comics is the house that has created many franchises like Hellboy, The Umbrella Academy, Mask, and many more. While DC and Marvel usually hog all the spotlight when it comes to major comic book production houses, but Dark Horse has significantly produced cult classics over the years. Given its fame and offbeat stories and characters, it is only logical that Dark Horse would be looking to expand its avenues by selling out its subsidiary production house, Dark Horse Entertainment. According to a report by Bloomberg that focuses on production companies selling their IP to major businesses, Dark Horse can be considered next in line of companies selling their IP to major Hollywood houses and beyond. Add comic book publisher Dark Horse Comics to the list. The company is working with an advisor to weigh options that could include a sale, according to people familiar with the matter. A representative for Dark Horse couldn't be reached for comment. Fans of Dark Horse Comics or fans of Dark Horse should note that selling Dark Horse Entertainment to a major Hollywood banner or an iconic streaming platform like Hulu, Netflix, or Disney Plus would give the buyer rights to other exclusive Dark Horse IPs as well, which would open the door to a wide range of possibilities. Dark Horse Entertainment previously made a deal with Netflix for 2 seasons of The Umbrella Academy, with a 3rd season planned for next year. I'm glad that they're going to finish it out. If the sale of Dark Horse Entertainment to a similar banner goes through, it might give fans some extraordinary shows worth looking forward to, including perhaps a Hellboy or a Bureau for Paranormal Research and Defense series. So
It'll definitely be a Hellboy series, dude. Netflix might pick that up since they've already got the Umbrella Academy with them.
Well, and the Umbrella Academy has been like pretty well reviewed.
Yeah. I
enjoyed it. Yeah.
I'll watch the new whatever.
And if they go with like Netflix or Hulu, something like that, then they'll definitely be able to do more mature stories.
Yeah.
And
I'd like to see a good Hellboy series. A series.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. And I think that like I don't want Disney to get it.
I don't think they're gonna be.
Yeah. I don't want Disney Plus or Disney or anybody like that to get it. I want to see like someone that can do good work with it. And Netflix would be a great place for it. Hulu, you know, there might be a couple of other production companies out there that would be interested in picking this up. So,
well, it would be interesting because you know there's a lot of good stuff from Dark Horse.
Time Cop.
Yeah,
I want you to go into this. I want you to go into this other link because I think the last one that we did have on here, I think it's terrific, good news to end on.
Okay.
But yeah, I just saw this, so I posted it and was like, since we were already still in comic world, I figure we just knock this out as well because I have some questions, honestly.
Okay. Colin Farrell officially signs on to play Penguin in the Batman spinoff series. It's official. Colin Farrell is getting his own Penguin spinoff series. In the Batman, the upcoming standalone movie from director Matt Reeves starring Pattinson as Bruce Wayne, Farrell will make his debut as the supervillain Oswald Cobblepot. It doesn't seem like he'll be playing that big of a role in the story of the Batman, but he'll be getting his own chance to shine with an ongoing series. Per Variety, Farrell has now officially signed on to star in and executive produced the Untitled spinoff series. This follows reports that a Penguin series was in development at HBO Max, though Farrell hadn't signed on until recently. The show will delve into the Penguin's rise to power in the Gotham criminal underworld, but it's not clear if this will take place before or after the events of the Batman. Lauren LaFranc is penning the script for the Penguin series alongside Farrell. The Batman helmer Matt Reeves will also executive produce with Dylan Clark under their 6th and Idaho and Dylan Clark Productions banners. Warner Brothers TV is also producing. This is the second spinoff series to be put into development at HBO Max. It was also reported that the Batman would generate another spinoff following the officers working within the Gotham Police Department, with Joe Barton serving as a showrunner. It's still not known which, if any, characters from the Batman will appear in this spinoff, though you'd think Jeffrey Wright's Commissioner James Gordon would be bound to show up at some point. Additionally, this marks the first DC series to be focused specifically on the Penguin, though the character has been a force to be reckoned with for Batman for 80 years. He was memorably played by Danny DeVito in Tim Burton's sequel Batman Returns, and the actor recently paid tribute to his role by writing a new comic book story for the Penguin. Burgess Meredith also played the Great Penguin in the classic Batman TV series, while Robin Lord Taylor did a killer job as a younger Oswald Cobblepot in the prequel series Gotham. I'm only in it for 5 or 6 scenes, so I can't wait to see the film because it won't be ruined by my presence, Farrell said. Really, it's a freebie to me. I'll get a little bit uncomfortable for the fucking 9 minutes I have, and then the rest of it, I cannot wait to see how Matt Reeves brought this world to life. He added, look, I only had, as I said, 5 or 6 scenes, 5 or 6 or 7 scenes, and I wasn't quiet. I was up here early stages looking at what I felt, what I could do, what I could bring to it. I was a bit lost. And then when I saw what Mike did, the whole character made sense to me. I swear to God, I saw what he did and I just went, okay. And I got really excited about it. All that to say that if anyone ever thinks what I do to the Batman is a decent performance, I'll gladly take 49% of the credits. So that's weird.
Yeah, I'm curious as to why are we still trying to get these Batman spinoff shows. Gotham was what it was. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't amazing.
Well, HBO Max wants that. You know,
Yeah.
they'll be going straight there. I mean, I'll watch it.
I mean,
you know,
if it with it being HBO Max, it has a chance for it to be a brutal villain story. You know, like he's just a crime lord doing crime lord shit. You know,
they were like, "Look, man, if we can get this going and it does well, we can probably get you a show so you can, you know, have a chance to show off your acting a little more."
Yeah.
But the number just kept going up. He was like, I was in 1, 2, I was in 8, 9, 10 scenes, you know, like.
I'm secretly the supporting villain of the movie. I will say I ain't, but you know.
I'm doing a show.
I mean,
if he's limited in presence in that movie, that only makes me feel more like it's gonna be the story Hush. That's what I really think. I'm almost convinced that it's Hush.
Yeah. Well, I don't understand legitimately why HBO and not Disney, but Warner Brothers can't get their shit together on this whole, you know, DC cinematic universe thing. Like, okay, you're going to do the Batman. You're also going to do a spin-off series of the Penguin. You're also going to reset everything with Flashpoint, but you're going to keep Jason Momoa and Gal Gadot because their movies are making money, but you're also going to do this, but you're also, it's just like,
well, they're trying so hard, Griffin, to be so different from Marvel that even down to filmmaking basics, they're trying to be different.
Well, yeah, I mean, for sure, but
And don't get me wrong, I hate it. I absolutely hate it that Warner Brothers just can't. They somehow just can't. There can't be a second team of people that love these properties as much as people who are making the Marvel shit.
yeah,
And for and I think you've said it probably more so than me and Adam. But you know, we're gonna continue to get this shit until either they stop making money or until finally someone comes along and talks sense to these motherfuckers.
yeah,
Look what they did with Suicide Squad.
yeah,
Movie come out, theaters, then it hits HBO. Now there's a show coming straight to HBO
yeah,
Max.
yeah.
They're trying to generate, and that movie wasn't bad. That was.
No, no, and like the movies aren't bad. What they're, like the Aquaman movie was good. Wonder Woman 84 was dog shit. So there's some hits and some misses in here. But I'm sitting here thinking, like, who cares about the Penguin? Like, no offense to anybody who's like, that's my favorite villain and all this kind of stuff. But like, the Rogues Gallery makes Batman, right?
Mm-hmm.
But less is more.
Well,
So,
it's the same. It's the same. They're doing to what Warner Brothers is doing to the DC comics is what Sony's doing to what little Marvel properties they have left.
yeah.
They're scurrying around trying to jumpstart a universe, backtracking on it. Not sure if certain things are going to carry over. Oh, they are now, but not completely. But kind of what you were saying earlier. Like there's no one there to tell anyone to pump the brakes and get this shit under control.
Yeah.
Because if you because here's what works with Disney and Marvel. Even though Marvel is a money box or a money maker machine, like fucking on steroids, Disney is still capable of pumping out Disney stuff while still doing the Marvel thing. Like they're
Yeah.
still coming out with their Pixar originals. They're still doing all that shit.
Yeah.
And so they're able to still go off and have all these other projects going. Yeah, Disney has a bajillion dollars, but Warner Brothers has been around since, I don't know, cinema started.
Yeah.
So to pretend like they don't have the money to be able to take the DC properties, get its own little vacuum created like Disney did with Marvel, and be able to just throw the money around, do the superhero projects and all this shit, while still being able to release good solo original Warner Brother material. It just blows my mind that they just don't have a team that can do that, or at least pull it off effectively, because it just seems that for the length of our podcast, the one glaring thing in a lot of these production companies is that Warner Brothers does not give a fuck anymore.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. And it's, it's frustrating to a lot of fans, of course, because it's like, it's with Marvel, it's simple. You know what I mean? It got weird for a second, with like the Netflix shit and all this other stuff. So it did get weird for a second, but it's simple. And it's like, when are they going to simplify everything? Like the DC Arrowverse or Flashverse, whatever it is now, that stuff is simple. You know what I mean? You've got this
Yeah.
many seasons of these shows, they're all interconnected. It is what it is. When the fuck are they gonna, like, I don't know. It's almost to the point now where like I don't even care to cover shit for Warner Brothers, like, because like it doesn't matter. Like the Penguin series is going to come out. It's going to be probably pretty good. I mean, I'll give them that. But in the grand scheme of things, like I'm not a super huge fan of Penguin. So like, and if this ropes into Batman, then that's great. But that's roping into one character. It's not building, like Hawkeye's building to something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Loki will set the fucking
Building to a lot
foundation.
of something. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I think to add to what you were saying earlier, Griffin, and it's that, the Rogues Gallery makes Batman.
Yeah.
And I think it's also vice versa. I think Gotham, despite its highs, because when Gotham was at its high, it was great, and I think that was large in part to I think it's Monaghan's or Mahonigan. This dude's the guy who played the Joker.
Yeah.
I think was the peak of Gotham, even though there was a lot of other good stuff going on. But at the end of the day, even with its setting, and even though Bruce Wayne was still in the show, it wasn't a Batman story.
Yeah.
And I think Batman and his Rogues Gallery are so tightly knit, just as Spider-Man is with his Rogue Gallery. I think it's gonna be problematic to create all these properties where they're not gonna be able to use Batman.
Yeah.
Because Warner Brothers is scared to invest any money in Batman being on TV, and I have no idea why. Because Batman would be a fantastic TV show.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it was for a really long time outside of the comic book.
Yeah.
And to act like they couldn't put the money into a Batman TV show where you do a slow burn. You let Batman have episodes where he's being a detective, where he's having to juggle his life as Bruce Wayne. And then, you build up to the moments where, like, you could literally copy paste the approach of Daredevil on Netflix and replace it with Batman, and it would work.
Yeah.
And
right.
I just think I think it's stupid to take a property like Batman that Warner Brothers sees as this diamond in the rough that they can get so much fucking money for if they just put out a movie, when in the long run it would boost sales of their streaming. Do you realize how many people would buy subscriptions for streaming services just to watch a Batman TV show?
Yeah, I know.
A lot.
Yeah.
And and it would be great, because you would also have a great way to tie in stuff for other shows. Like, you could have Batman have some of the filler in Titans.
Yeah.
You could have, and they already had I think there was a pseudo episode in Titans where they had to fight like a fake Batman or a crazed one or some shit like that. And I don't know. It's one of those things where I just don't see. I don't see them making The Sopranos with Oswald Cobblepot as Tony Soprano.
Yeah.
That would be boring, honestly. I don't care if it takes place in Gotham. If Batman's not there to wrangle these fuckers up, why are we watching it?
Exactly. So we'll see when it comes. I mean, I'm still excited for the Batman. I'm still excited for all of that shit. I'm just, it's just a little concerning, It's just,
Well, it's almost like they want audiences to be burnt out on Batman without having to use Batman as the source of the burnout.
Yeah, exactly right.
That's clever, I guess, but also insanely stupid.
Yeah. So, but yeah, this is the big deal right here. This is the big topic.
This has got me smiling, guys. Like, I thought this was a case of, man, guess we'll just have to read it one day if he publishes it.
Yeah. So Guillermo del Toro will rewrite At the Mountains of Madness to make it smaller and weirder.
Shout out, by the way, shout out to MovieWeb. A lot of the stuff we've been pulling from tonight, I notice, have been from you guys, man. Y'all are doing God's work over there.
Guillermo del Toro is not known for his grounded dramas, so when the man behind the likes of Pan's Labyrinth and Hellboy says he wants to go weirder with his adaptation of the H.P. Lovecraft horror At the Mountains of Madness, you know that things are going to get really off the chart. The story is one of Lovecraft's best-known tales, despite it initially taking 5 years for anyone to publish it, and is one of his many written works featuring the Shoggoth. How do you pronounce that, Trav? Shoggoth, which form part of the Gothic writer's Cthulhu mythology, and as with many Lovecraft's work, is one that would need a special touch to make a successful transition to screen. Guillermo del Toro could well be that special touch, as he has been developing the movie for almost 16 years with Matthew Robbins, who co-wrote the original script for the project. Despite his credentials, the award winner has failed to get a studio behind the project, with Warner Brothers having passed on it a number of times. That doesn't mean that the director has given up on the project just yet, even though it has been almost a decade since any reference has been made to the film. While it seems like the project should be now dead after this long, it is worth noting that Del Toro did at one point have James Cameron on board to produce, with Tom Cruise leading the movie. But the director's adamant stance that the film would be R-rated led to Universal pulling the plug on that one, as their preference was that the movie was the more profitable PG-13 rating, although that would go against everything Lovecraft's writing conjures up. While it could be argued that the current surge in R-rated horror movies and the availability of many streaming platforms looking for exclusive content right now could be the best chance at getting At the Mountains of Madness made. Talking about his current intentions for the project while discussing Stephen King's It on the Kingcast podcast. Is it Stephen King's podcast? The Kingcast? Del Toro revealed that he now wants to rewrite the project with a weirder edge. This is what he had to say about it. The thing with Mountains is the screenplay I co-wrote 15 years ago is not the screenplay I would do now. So I need to do a rewrite. Not only to scale it down somehow, but because back when I was trying to bridge the scale of it with elements that would make it go through the studio machinery. I don't think I need to reconcile that anymore. I can go far more esoteric, weirder, smaller version of it. Where I can go back to some of the scenes that were left out. Some of the big set pieces I designed, for example, I have no appetite for. Like I've already done this or that giant set piece. I feel like going into a weirder direction. I know a few things will stay. I know the ending we have is one of the most intriguing, weirder, unsettling endings for me. There's about 4 horror set pieces that I love in the original script, so it would be my hope. I certainly get a phone call every 6 months from Don Murphy going, "Are we doing this or what? Are you doing this or what?" And I say, I have to take time and rewrite it. While it may still be some time before we get to see At the Mountains of Madness, if at all, Del Toro fans have a few imminent projects to look forward to, from the fantasy and horror master, with Nightmare Alley heading to theaters on December the 17th, and his stop-motion musical take on Pinocchio expected to be released on Netflix in 2022.
It's not. It's a podcast for Stephen King. I looked it up.
Oh,
They
okay.
do it. It's at Fangoria.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
But I am going to listen to that episode with him on it, because he also says that he would like to do an adaptation of Pet Cemetery.
That would be cool.
I mean,
that would be
talk about
interesting.
getting twisted.
Yeah.
Well, as exciting as this is,
We got to remember who's making it.
that too.
Yeah.
We also got to hope that Del Toro doesn't get lost in the sauce, and all we get out of him is a remake of The Thing.
Yeah.
Or just a ripoff of The Thing. Because essentially, Mountains of Madness that's basically what it is it's more or less The Thing. Now, what I hope Del Toro does is I hope there's a lot of fucking like dialogue in this movie where it's them figuring out, like almost like Take Arrival, where they're trying to figure out how to communicate with those aliens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But have these people down here and have them figuring out, like, okay, they were part of all the elder ancient ones, whatever Lovecraft calls all the different gods and shit at large, and how they this particular god's story of how he came to Earth and all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
And it's not just, it doesn't become, because when he says like smaller, I'm like, okay, he's gonna make it a whodunit.
Well, more intimate.
And that's about as intimate, I think, as you could get when you deal with something that's a shapeshifter. It's like, oh, so it could turn into people. All right, somebody call Kurt Russell and grab a flamethrower.
Yeah. Well, and like, you know, they're saying on here and kind of acknowledging, it's like Bloomhouse would pick it up in a fucking heartbeat. You know what I mean?
Well, I
Like,
mean, what would it be? What do you think it would come off way too pretentious if A24 did it? Like, and it had that A24 style,
I don't think so. I think it would be
long,
perfect.
large sweeping shots of Antarctica, and then like you have like a lot of people at first. You have the big kill off where it's like, all right, let's just focus on the main characters now, and then you just deal with just like maybe a handful of people, and you just have this crazy fucking story unfold, you know?
Yeah. No, I think that that would be a fantastic place to take this, because here's the thing that A24 is going to do. They're going to say, "We got your money covered. Do whatever the hell weird shit you're going to do." You know what I
Hey,
mean? Like,
just as under one condition, we can do it black and white, and we keep it at 6:4 aspect ratio.
I mean, I'm sure he would be down with that. You know what I mean?
Del Toro would be like, "Could I just like, I don't know, make it 8 hours?" They're like, "Go for it."
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the way that and I think that if he's going to get this made, he needs to go to a studio that'll give him the freedom to do exactly what he needs to
Yeah.
do. Like,
Well, I mean, rein him in when it gets too out of hand, but don't nitpick him.
no, let him shoot the film that he wants to shoot, and then, like, on the cutting room floor, then tighten it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's, to me, that's what needs to happen, because, like, if he's going to make a 2.5 hour epic and he shoots, you know what,
I mean, I know
6 hours of footage.
we've kind of made it a staple around here to, you know, really, give the studios like the finger and really be like, yeah, let the filmmaker, make his movie. But also the other side to the sword is that we need those studios because we also need them to save the director from himself, because a lot of these people could go completely self-indulgent, and we get a film that is good but is too much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's a
No,
very real thing. I mean, as much as I love the movie, Snyder Cut almost borderlines it.
yeah, I mean, I can get that, but I mean, people wanted to see the fucking Snyder cut, so they saw
Oh,
everything plus.
oh yeah, it gave us everything. And I mean, I guess that's a bad example, but you know, it's absolutely a thing that a director could get too much in. Like, you can't have him turning into Stanley Kubrick, and like, we can't have another one of them fuckers, man.
Oh,
Like,
I see. That's talking about Pinocchio being on Netflix. So, this Netflix is doing this movie.
In the Mountains of Madness?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. There's other
ooh,
articles about it. Like when I was looking at that one, it popped
that
up, and I thought that's what it said at the end. Then I was like, oh no. But I think he
kind of
said
makes
it
me
when he was on
nervous.
that podcast. He said, let's see.
'Cause
Yeah, that's what this headline says.
Netflix is about 60-40 in terms of quality, man.
Well, the money will be there.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you're absolutely right.
I mean, they've put some money into some stuff, and they're not going to care about an R rating.
Um,
No.
They're not going to give a
I
fuck.
know, I I know I finished Cowboy Bebop, and I think I made comments on it last episode. Um, but there was enough of what I liked out of that, uh, uh that I'm still kind of hopeful for how Gundam's gonna turn out.
Hmm.
Um, but I don't think, or what would be great is if if Del Toro does Mountains of Madness as a foreign film,
Yeah.
like, because I will say the foreign films that have been Netflix exclusives have completely outdid uh the Western counterparts.
Yeah.
And I think the numbers reflect too. I mean, like, the platform was a fucking hit. Squid Game. It's currently like we're still in the throes of its popularity.
Yeah, it was great, by the way. So
I've still got to
Bedelia
finish it.
watched some of that other show that's kind of like Squid Games. Was it something, The Heist?
yeah, the
It was
heist,
terrible.
money heist.
He was like nothing like Squid Games. It's like, all right, dude, calm down.
I'm glad that, I mean, granted, I'm not necessarily going digging for it, but I'm glad that Gundam is not constantly every day a new article snippet on it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'm hoping that they're just letting that baby bake. Just let it stay in that oven, let it get good, and when it's nice and fresh, give it to the world. Because I have a lot of, I hate that my hype and expectations are high for it because I know it's not going to give me what I'm wanting, but I hope it can get close to it, you know?
yeah,
Part of me, I don't want like a gritty, I don't want it to be too gritty, but I want it to be, I don't want it to necessarily be too kid friendly either.
right.
I would like to think that maybe the people at Netflix that are making it and the guys, the team that we've been praising that's behind it, I'm hoping that they're making this knowing the demographic, the age demographic that's probably more excited for this than say the 10, 12-year-old that's sitting around, you know?
Right.
Like, you know, most younger people don't give a shit about Gundam. So I
Yeah.
hope that's being taken into consideration.
Oh yeah.
Because if they do it right, it could be I mean, like, it could be the next big, like, adventure movie for Netflix and a big, you know, money maker for them.
Yeah. Well, we'll see when it comes out. I hope they do a good job with it.
I watched, this is what I was getting to with Gundam anyway. I watched the Hathaway film that's on Netflix. Fantastic animation. Like, if if they can keep that going and be able to translate some of that some of that style for the ships and stuff, man. And even I was surprised that it like the opening of the film is a classic plane hostage situation.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I was very impressed by how they pulled it off. It wasn't like it's hard to explain like saying the gunfight looked real because it was animated, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't like people sweeping their arms everywhere and blah blah blah. Like, you know, homeboy would cut a corner, has an MP5, mows a motherfucker down, dude's ducked behind the thing. Like, you know, like it plays out like you could see that in live action as you watch it. You know what I mean? Because some animation you'll see it and you're like, couldn't pull that off.
Right.
But yeah.
I'm ready for trailers. Y'all ready for 'em?
MacGruber?
Yeah, let's do it,
Bring back
dude.
MacGruber, dude.
Man,
December the
Will
16th.
No, this is what pissed me off. Fuck
Talking about Last
MacGruber,
Man on
Peacock.
Earth.
Bring that show back, god damn it.
Yeah. He took a little break with that. After I saw this trailer, see, what's better with this is it's a show. Remember they tried
Yeah.
to make a MacGruber movie, and it's like, nah, you need time. This is like it's a comedy. It's a sitcom. You need time. But this
Yeah.
is
I
a
really,
Peacock series.
if there was a petition that I could sign for them to bring back Last Man on Earth, I'd sign it.
Oh yeah,
That
that was a
show.
great show.
Well, here's the thing. I remember Adam was really telling us like, man, y'all are sleeping on it. Man, y'all are sleeping on it. And I finally got around to watching it, and I was like, fuck, dude. I was more than sleeping on it. I was straight up in another bedroom.
Well, dude, just pretty much anything with Will Forte in it, you're sleeping on it if you haven't seen it.
Dude, he'll always be
Like
Tandy to me now.
Yeah. Well, in the show where he plays the hitman,
Like,
that show called?
I'm not sure. See, that's what I'm saying, man. When I think Forte, I think Last Man Standing
Oh,
or
he's
Last Man on
Tandy.
Earth. Like, Dude, the scene, I'll always remember that scene in that show when they set up all the singing fish as the alarm. And there's this point where he's got to get up and go take a piss.
Yeah.
And he's just walking down the hallway, and all you hear is Jeremiah, Jeremiah, Jeremiah was a bullfrog.
Yeah.
And it plays, and the shot plays it all out, and then they stop. Then he comes back after he's pissed, and he fires all of it back on again, going back to his room. I just thought that was so funny that they just let that linger, and you see all that.
Yeah, he's a funny dude. The scene that I always remember was the one where they're lighting up the Christmas tree and stuff, and he comes out of the tree in that fucking ghillie suit.
Yeah.
That shit was funny,
Yeah.
man. I just
that
like
and
his.
when
He's good. He's
that
got good
and
delivery.
him and when that last little bit near the end where him and Jason Sudeikis were back and forth.
Yeah.
That shit was funny, especially when Sudeikis is sitting around that campfire singing fucking David Bowie.
Yeah.
Unironically.
Well, let's see what this MacGruber be looking like.
Yeah, man, I'm ready.
I think it's a series. I'm not sure if it's a movie. It should be. Like I'm moving the laptop.
Yeah, and it's picking up after where the movie left off at, so that's kind of
Saw
cool.
a little bit of the trailer and I was like, oh yeah. All right, I'm ready. Y'all
Yeah.
ready?
Yes.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, play.
TVMA.
He's got to say that line from the skits he used to do, where it's like the game's changed, but the players are the same.
Oh, it's gonna be over the top.
I love that it's Lawrence Fishburne. Is this Round and Round playing?
I think so.
The dick shot.
He's going full commando, ain't he?
Funny, we just watched Die
Brian
Hard.
Phillippe.
Like
Haven't seen that motherfucker in a minute. Or Billy Zane. Okay. Convinced. Oh, okay. I'll take it. That was fucking great.
Yeah, right. So is this next trailer real?
This is real. This is the Netflix trailer.
Let's fucking do this.
I'm curious.
I mean,
Very
it should be.
curious.
I was born curious.
I'm ready when y'all are.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just making sure it's on. It appears to be real. It doesn't say concept anywhere. All right, 3, 2, 1, play. Yeah. Kind of came out of nowhere, didn't it?
Yeah.
The best usually do, my man.
Oh. And they're kind of doing the Halloween thing, right? This takes place.
I think so.
Yeah. Seems to be the new template that works.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
Are we gonna hear it?
Here's what I love about diversity in horror films. They all fucking die. Bring it
That was a
on.
cool shot.
Yeah.
That's a fucking cool shot, dude.
So he knocks a hole in the wall, and they don't tell how long that thing's been in there. I'm over here like, you're gonna have to flood the lines and get that old gas out of it.
Yeah.
He just starts it right up, dude. Wah!
Check that spark plug, dog.
I'm like, you're gonna have to get some 2-in-1 for that.
I know a lot of people gave Halloween Kills shit, which kind of blew me away because I was like, this was great. But honestly, they could copy paste the whole.
Yeah.
All right, he's holed up somewhere. Time to get his shit
Makes
back.
a better sequel.
Yeah, it does, and it paves the way to when they do hit that dead ringer of an original idea using the character, it's set up for it. Like play it safe and then go crazy.
Hell yeah. So we got Peacemaker.
So isn't Peacemaker a type of gun?
There is a gun they call the Peacemaker, I think.
Okay.
I like how it says, give peace a fucking chance. Peacemaker arrives on HBO Max. January.
Let's fucking do it, dude.
All right, 3, 2, 1, play. I'm excited about it.
I mean, if he keeps up the same pace and tone as he did in the movie, man, it's.
The last trailer was funny. Let's see if this one nails it. Look, the fucking eagle. I mean, like.
I love it. I love it. He's playing the dad.
He kind of has a wrong kid died kind of vibe, you know?
Yeah.
Work shirt. Oh, he's second guessing himself.
I wonder if this is going to build up as to him getting locked up, and that's how we see him in Suicide Squad.
I'm sure.
Uh,
I think it takes place after. Because he says they let him out of jail. Oh, yeah, remember he was healing after getting shot.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
you're
was
right.
like,
Yeah, you're right, man.
He's going to be a peacemaker. It's a dildo. Like a toilet bowl. It's a beacon of freedom.
I haven't heard that song in so long. That was a rock band
Gold.
or Guitar Hero staple. Push, push, little lightning.
But yeah, Peacemaker looks like Peacemaker. Give Peace
Yeah.
a fucking chance.
This has got Zac Efron in it. Oh shit.
Gold. Is it a Western?
Gold in them
Maybe.
hills.
I hope it's. I mean, dude, I would love a good old fashioned Gold Rush movie.
Let's check it out.
I
Let's
don't know
paper.
from the thumbnail. All right, here we go. Y'all ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, play.
A Stan.
Oh, it's got a Skarsgård. It's gonna be a banger.
He's really going for it, ain't he? Yeah. Now you ain't gonna be able to trust each other.
Holy
Holy
shit,
shit.
that's fucking huge. Yeah.
God damn.
Dude, like, they want that gold so bad, they're probably almost willing to die for it. Look,
Oh yeah, they ain't leaving that spot.
he's going crazy.
It's a sequel to Alive.
He's like, you need to bring these guys here some sunscreen back when you come.
Like, I'm gonna kill this bitch and eat her.
So you gotta get rid of her.
It's gonna be interesting if this is gonna be a Desert Madness movie.
Oh yeah, I don't even think the guy's talking to him. Look at him, dude.
Oh shit.
Let's go.
I mean,
It looks good. I like
yeah.
Zac Efron.
You gotta give a shout out for him for not getting pigeonholed.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
mean, he started in those
Right.
high school musicals, right?
Yeah.
Now look at him.
Yeah, I mean, you see
That's
that last shot
crazy.
of him looking straight at the
Yeah.
camera? And then, like, you compare that to, like, that Bundy role seems to have opened up a lot for him.
I need to watch that.
Yeah.
He's kind of the perfect person to cast in that role.
What, the Ted Bundy thing he did?
Yeah.
It was pretty good, man. My wife watches a lot of that shit like yours does, dude, and I was kind of in and out with it.
Yeah.
But I sat through most of all that Bundy shit that came out for what seemed like 6 months. There was a new documentary about him and shit.
Yeah.
I sat through a good bit of that, and yeah, he played the motherfucker. He was a goddamn liar for about an hour and a half.
Yeah. So he's acting.
You know?
Yeah.
No, I mean like Ted Bundy.
Yeah.
Like, because he's just a fucking, like,
Psychopath.
My AP going psycho. All right, we
Hey,
got some
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
so I haven't seen this. I wasn't for
either.
sure if this was real or not.
Oh, it's real.
I mean, I see the Sony pictures,
Yeah.
but I mean,
Hey, look,
at
it
first
actually still has the thumbs down on mine.
Mine does too.
Yeah, some
gave it
videos
thumbs
don't,
down?
some videos do. No,
My
like they've
videos have
taken
the thumbs
around
down.
a
Yeah.
lot of, well, I think it just depends on who it is.
Oh yeah,
Certain
of course.
movies, the trailers come out and they'll
certain
be like, oh,
certain
like they know
addresses
nobody's
to
gonna
the
hate this. It's Spider-Man.
yeah.
So it's
Let's
just
do
funny.
it, man.
But yeah, 3, 2, 1, play. I need to watch the other one.
I dig
Me
that.
too.
Okay, don't talk about.
He's still listening to what, The Weeknd?
That's Post and
Oh, what's his
who's the
name?
other guy?
Something Ray Lee Ra. The song's called Sway Lee. I said
Yeah.
Way Lee. I like that animation style. Looks good.
Oh, I was very impressed by the first one. So much I bought it.
The frame rate looks off. I bet it's this trailer, but y'all know what I mean?
No,
Like,
it's
they're
meant-
going for a claymation
they do that on purpose.
feel. Yeah.
yeah.
Did they do it in
Of
the
all
movie?
the Sony projects that they've had of Spider-Man, this animated universe they're doing,
Okay.
they're very meticulous with it. They're trying to recreate comic shots in a weird way.
Yeah, it looked weird.
Oh
Listen,
yeah. I
you
mean,
get
it is.
used to it,
It's
I'm sure, after a little bit, but
oh yeah.
that has a higher frame rate. That does look
Spider-Man
cool.
$20.99.
Yeah. Better stay out of the sun. It'll cook you, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, there's Spider-Man $20.99.
Good call.
Oh, dude, this is
Spider-Man as fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, goddamn, son.
It's cool they're pulling the $20.99 Spider-Man into it.
I mean, way to.
And they really did. They pulled him in. Like,
Yeah, legit.
yeah, I gotta watch that
Yeah.
other one, man.
Yeah, we need to pod it.
Well, Into the Spider-Verse.
I need to
Yeah.
watch it.
Y'all will
I have
absolutely.
it.
It's a legit story, but like
everybody
think,
loved it that's seen it.
I feel like where it really sings is in its production value, man.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing drips with aesthetic. Like the whole movie making aspect of it will
Yeah.
probably be, something that you'll appreciate. I think.
Oh yeah.
Mickey Rourke.
So is this a remake of Commando?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it
It's got
might.
Michael J. White.
I mean, it's gonna be an action movie with at least one
They've been
washed up
filmed.
star.
That means it's gonna be cheesy as fuck.
I mean,
Let's
Mickey Rourke. I'm gonna beat a piece of meat. All
It'd
right,
be funny. Oh, never mind.
3, 2, 1, play. Mickey Rourke now looks like the son from Sleepwalkers when he would turn into a cat person. His face looks like that.
You're
yeah.
so right, though.
Well, you see him. Look, it's all swelled up and puffy.
I just don't want Mickey Rourke to become a new Steven Seagal.
I mean,
We got some business to take care of. We gotta go.
he fucked his face up, dude.
I'm just a beat up piece of meat.
He was great in Barfly.
Oh, it's got Michael Ty White, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, he'll always be Spawn, dude.
Yeah, I mean.
That would bring a smile to my face in the new Spawn film if it's less is more and Spawn's already, had his origin. If when he steps out of the shadows and the mask pulls back, it's fucking Michael Ty White. That'd be cool.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I don't think it's a remake.
No, definitely not.
Now, what the fuck is this?
I can't see it yet. What is it? Oh, it's a trailer, dude.
Uh,
No, y'all don't know nothing about this yet. I watched a 38-minute trailer compilation, and this was buried in it. Dude, I'm on here putting in trailers, movie trailers, setting it to this week. This shit
Yeah.
never came up, and I went all the way down until it hits the Bollywood movies. That's when you know.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, we out of
That's
movies. When you hit
yeah.
Bollywood
Bro,
trailers,
when
that's
you get
it.
to
Yeah, and there'll just be a bunch of Bollywood movies. It's like, all right, I hit the end, I guess. So then, if I see a couple of those trailer comps, I'll pull them up and skim through them because usually they timestamp them.
Yeah.
Nice, but yeah, let's watch this. Y'all ready?
Let's see. Oh yeah.
3, 2, 1, play.
You got me crazy running circles in my head. No. Oh God, like they're not subtle about it.
Little Necronomicon action.
Is this Pick of Destiny but with Foo Fighters?
What it looks like. I think that was Will Forte, Whitney Cummings. You know they got a lot of famous friends. And you know,
That
dude,
looks-
I don't care who you are, but if the Foo Fighters call you up and they're like, we got this small little movie role. It's it's
Looks
kind of
like
a thrill.
that,
I'm like, yes.
Looks like that analog deck got the best of Dave Grohl. When he got struck by lightning, it seems as if he's learned to fly.
It did kind of look like the Pick of Destiny.
yeah.
They even had the same. I bet Liam Lynch is directing it.
The wow, that the comedy rock music.
But
All
I'll
right.
keep my eye out for that. Let y'all know.
Yeah. Comes out in February.
Oh,
February.
I hope maybe I'll remember.
Hmm.
It's a long time.
We'll figure it out. Munich.
This guy.
Edge of War. It's a guy from 1917,
Yeah.
right? I'm excited.
They're like, give me that guy. They're like, sure.
All right. 3, 2, 1, play. You know he's gonna act
Every
his
time
ass off.
every
War
time I
movie.
see Munich, I think of that skit where for some reason they were talking to Scooby Doo like he was a war vet, and it would cut to the title of Munich, and you hear Scooby Doo go, "We never stood a chance." Of course, always sending him on fucking missions to get
Oh, man,
shit.
he's pretty good at it.
I
Ooh,
mean,
this one's got
to
Hitler in
be
it.
fair, the Queen will not have your back on this one. Ah, well, keep the tea on, why don't you?
He's got
Like
good face
him.
acting.
I want to hear him read the Bible. Dukeland Scheisen.
Mm.
I Scheisen. In a film where you didn't wait for the creme.
Damn.
Wood.
Man, here's something about these types of movies. These espionage thrillers and stuff. It's hard to ever want to watch them because I guess I get it. A lot of people were trying to stop Hitler and the Third Reich, but he succeeded. He succeeded up until the point of military conflict, and we had to stop him with sheer fucking violence.
We had to
And so
bitch slap that fool and send him packing.
when you watch these movies where it's like you have 24 hours to get the plans
and you're sitting there like
from
the
Hitler.
plans, they don't get them. They don't get the plans.
Yeah,
and
it's like I get it. A lot of people like not everyone was on board with the shit. I get it, but it's like, but it didn't matter because we know what happens in history. We know what goes on. Like this motherfucker maybe gets that one document, but it doesn't. It does not.
It's
it
like
doesn't
when
stop
you were
D-Day
watching,
from happening.
You know, Titanic was one of the highest grossing films for a very long time, and
You're
we
right.
all know what's gonna happen. You know what I mean? When you start watching the movie, it's like, somebody's dying. A lot of somebody. This ship's going down. The guy's like, not even God could sink it, and it's like, you fucked everybody, dude.
But I feel like with the World War II movies, it's the whole we tried but we failed.
And you're over there watching the movie like, I hope they stop him, you know? And then you're like, oh yeah.
And the only one that had enough balls to do something different was Tarantino, and that was almost satirical. Well, not satire. I wouldn't call it that. It was almost comedic in the way that he did it. You know.
Yeah.
Like, oh, look at what we're gonna do. Close the theater. Just fire machine guns into the audience. Fuck them. They're Nazis. Yeah. I mean, and don't get me wrong. I mean, who wouldn't love to do that, knowing what the Third Reich goes on to do?
Yeah.
But, yeah, anyway.
Yeah, I don't know nothing about this movie or trailer. Show? Is it a show?
It's a limited series.
Okay, yeah.
Why didn't you just make the station? Why didn't you just make Station 10 bigger? Well, we have Station 11 too.
I'm gonna count her down. 3,
Let's do
2, 1, play. It was an interesting opener. I don't know.
We're gonna make everything look really blue when it snows.
Something's happening. Oh.
Coronavirus?
The craziest nor'easter you've ever seen. Oh shit, okay. Heard that. Used the set from The Last of Us.
Haven't seen that chick in a long time. Bet. I think I'll hang out here where I'm at.
I'm done with wandering apocalypse movies. Like, they're all the fucking same.
That should be the name of something. Wandering Apocalypse. Check this guy out.
Like, there's people that are like, yeah, we're gonna try to preserve and respect what was.
They had a Game Gear.
There's gonna be people that's like, this is all fucking, this is why we're here, burn it to the ground.
They would come to me and be like, would you like to donate some of your movies? No.
You're like, what movies? You'd be like, what movies? Like, what's with all them discs? You're like, that's family photos.
Be hiding movies like old bars on the wall and shit. Just think, man, physical media.
The apocalypse happens, Adam. You hit a fucking cement foundation like John Wick getting his stuff back, and it's just a duffel bag of your stuff. And when you unzip it and you open it, like the minute you do, it does the goddamn Back in Black. You're flipping crudely put together switches and like a setup just starts booting up, and you're like, apocalypse. You're like, the apocalypse is over when I say it is.
Back in Black starts playing. But yeah, physical media would actually be worth something in that situation.
It would.
Because I mean,
Well, I
it's
mean,
like
think about
you
it.
won't ever watch a movie again. Then,
Well, think about it, Adam. Like wouldn't you have virtually everything,
I don't
and
know
I
about
don't say
everything, but I
that.
have everything I want.
Well, I'm thinking like but you have pretty much a backup of pretty much every historically significant film, at least from a certain point. I know you're
Yeah,
not sitting there
I'm
with fucking
collecting the Hallmark
1950s
movies.
movies and
Yeah,
shit.
well, you'd be
Well, I'm saying
surprised.
if you went and pulled up, I would like to see you compare your list that you've got
Yeah,
of
there's no rules.
what you have
Yeah,
to the film Library of Congress's film records.
yeah. Then
I'd
they'd
like
be
to
like,
see.
"How'd you get some of that stuff? It's not
Well,
available."
no, like
Nah.
no. Well, I mean your DVD collection, you know,
Yeah. I mean, I
quotes.
guess I don't have the best collection. I've got the movies that I want.
I've seen the
I like
stacks.
finding movies in the wild. That's fun. I haven't done it
Yeah,
in a very long time though, man. I can't tell you the last time I bought a movie. I really can't. But I don't go places where they sell them a lot, so that's probably why, to be honest.
Yeah.
yeah.
Because if I see one, I'm like, $5 for that? Give me that shit. And it's like you already have it, but it's like, yeah, this one's in a different case though, you know?
You're like, but this
Yeah.
one's in the plastic
I've done
though.
that. But yeah. What's up with this fucking so didn't they do a show not too long ago with the dude from The Office? That was Jack
Jack
Reacher?
Reacher. Yeah.
Is
I
this
think this
another
is
Jack
Reacher.
Reacher
I
story?
think so, right? Oh, who else is Reacher? Let's see. Let's play it. But it was not too long ago.
Yeah. Let's paper.
3, 2, 1, play.
Motherfucker look like he's gonna be Buzz
I mean,
Lightyear.
Jack Reacher was on Prime. Uh-huh.
Yep.
They didn't list the steroids, you know? There we go. Who is this dude? Oh, dude, he's it's like a football player trying to act. Jack fucking reach around. He looks like a younger Dennis Quaid
Yeah.
I see
with
his Call of
muscles.
Duty skin soon.
I think he's already got one.
The new season pass.
I'm sorry, I put this in here.
Well, I mean, at least we got to hear "Can You Hear Me Knocking?"
Yeah, you're right. Dude, ain't none of those dudes gonna kick his ass. Right here. Oh, he broke his hand. He said there's 4 of us. He's like, one of you has to drive to the hospital.
That forearm's gonna get a
That's
lot of
funny.
FaceTime, I guess.
Oh, okay. A neat party
Oh,
trick. I mean, he's bigger than. What's that dude's name?
Krasinski,
John, yeah. I mean, way bigger. Way
The
more
Matrix
Matrix.
Resurrections. Let's do it. 3 minutes. Wonder what we're gonna get out of it.
It'll, we'll see
New
what we've
footage,
seen kind of
maybe.
moved around. I don't know about that.
Yeah, we're gonna
It'll
see
be moved
him
around.
stopping more bullets, looking like he's straining the shit.
All right. 3, 2, 1, play. You got to full screen this, you know?
Oh, recreation.
Like a simulation. That's new.
Oh.
Mm,
The Matrix was another Matrix.
that was a theory.
This is going to be him speed running to the end. He's the new Morpheus, clearly.
It looks great. Like, look at that.
Is that the Oracle?
I bet it is.
Was that Jada Pinkett Smith, more
It
importantly?
sound like her. Mm.
Does he bargain with the machines again?
Well, what do they want this time? Like, what's happening? We agreed to peace. I mean, this looks epic. This trailer did have more in it. Shit comes out soon, right?
Yeah, this month.
I mean, I know we got a film list, but when The Matrix comes out,
We'll have to go to the theaters, right? They're not.
I thought it was going to be on HBO Max at the same time.
Is it?
Look.
Yeah, and on HBO Max. Yeah, 12/23.
Yup. Yup.
I'm gonna go out of my way to like pop the biggest thing of popcorn I can muster. Maybe get
I'm
me a
gonna get
nice
that
thing of
Jiffy Pop
beer.
that you do on the eye. That's some good
Yeah, like
popcorn.
I'm gonna make a goddamn thing out of it because that's absolutely an early Christmas birthday present for me.
You Matrix. And then we're gonna talk about it. You know, I think it's
No,
gonna be
and it
good,
will.
dude. I
Yeah.
don't think we're gonna get let down from what we've seen, and if they do some kind of mind fuck where it's like the Matrix was in the Matrix in the Matrix, it's like, wow, you know. Like,
I think I
Yeah.
don't. I feel like Keanu Reeves has so much money he's made off of not only the original
he
Matrix but
wouldn't
off of
take the
John
movie if it
Wick.
was shit, dude.
Yeah, that's what I'm
He's
thinking.
hella
I'm
rich.
thinking. I think he's a real enough human being to be like, man, fans wouldn't want this shit.
He's like, you know what they want? More John Wick. Sign me up for 3, you know?
I mean, he's so Keanu Reeves in this movie, he just kept the John Wick look.
1883. Is that
I
fucking
mean,
Sunset Sarsaparilla?
Yeah. So it's co-creator of Yellowstone.
A lot
I
of
don't know
people
if y'all
like
have watched that
Yellowstone.
show any. I've watched some episodes with Deidre's hooked. I've watched a
Yeah.
few episodes. Damn good Kevin Costner role.
This is
Like,
what my
the
grandfather
scenes,
said. My grandfather was like, it's like Breaking Bad, but on a horse ranch. And I
absolutely.
was like, that sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, Costner plays a piece of shit, dude. Like
Yeah.
but you want to. It's one of those things where he's so good at being a piece of shit. You stick around to keep seeing the next thing he gets out of.
Yeah.
I've met a lot of people hooked on it. So
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I might check that out. So I've
And
sat there and seen
honestly,
scenes, but not like
honestly, I've
from beginning
never,
to whatever.
I never realized how popular it got until just here recently. That's the weird thing.
Yeah.
It kind of blew up. It wasn't this season, but the one before. And then they like, cause it came on like regular ass TV, and then it blew up, and they were like, put it on fucking Paramount Plus or something. Like,
I remember
yeah.
Deidre bought season 1 on a whim and was like, "This shit's banging," and then she just kept following ever since.
Y'all got this pulled
All
up
right.
here.
Yeah, let's peep it, man.
1883. All right, 3, 2, 1, play.
Period piece.
Somebody's getting dysentery.
Is this the prequel series? This might be the prequel series.
Or it could be the Red Dead Redemption adaptation.
Man, he fucking does look like a cowboy, don't
Yeah.
he? Engines. See? Oh,
The Oregon Trail.
dysentery, man. Tim McGraw?
What?
That's Tim
Did
McGraw?
not notice.
I knew the beard looked like it was dyed. That was Faith Hill. Okay. He's like, he's a real good man. Look at him, dude. He's acting his ass off. You have my attention. That was fucking
Billy Bob.
yeah.
Holy shit.
Dude, I did not know that was Tim McGraw until it said his name.
You're right. It is
Had
the
no
origin
idea.
story.
That makes sense. It's on Paramount Plus. It looks good.
Yeah,
Tim McGraw must be.
man.
He's like, man, I'm a big Yellowstone fan, man. Can I? And they're like, we might be able to work something out.
I won't play the lead though.
I mean,
I've
that's
been playing
tailor
Red
made.
Dead Redemption.
I'll be honest. It is tailor made for a lot of the older demographic that's hooked on that show.
Yeah.
A bunch of It's Your Love fans.
All
So
right.
like I said, this isn't much, like at all. It's under a minute, but I thought it looked good enough that I was like, it's just worth showing y'all.
All right. 3, 2, 1, play.
Remember, every bit of this is unreal.
That's why there's only a little bit, dude. It takes a long time. I've been watching some people make shit in Unreal, and it's time consuming. I saw an article today, speaking of Unreal 5, they said Fortnite was transitioning into the Unreal 5 engine. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
They could just seamlessly do that. Everybody needs to get on this Unreal train. Because
yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe Fortnite's already did the conversion, man.
Yeah,
maybe for the PS5 version.
Article I saw where they were going into it today or something like they were.
It absolutely whenever the last time I played it when it had an update to its like core design like that.
Yeah.
You can absolutely tell the difference. Colors pop more detail, like all that you would expect was there.
Yeah.
Right.
Lethal Weapon.
All right. Yeah, we're gonna do Lethal Weapon next week.
We're doing Lethal Weapon.
Hell yeah, let's do it.
The first
Can
one.
you hear me knocking? Yeah. I was gonna watch all 4 of them.
Oh, you can watch them all 4? I've got that DVD pack. You know the DVD they sold that had all 4 in it?
Yeah, yeah.
I'll pick that up, but yeah, Lethal Weapon.
I'm excited.
I haven't seen it in a while.
Yeah, it's been a while for me, man.
But yeah. Dexter.
I'm getting too old.
All kind. Yeah. Riggs, I'm getting too old for this shit. Riggs.